1,000-yard mark for the second straight year. He had 223 yards last week. The South Carolina Gamecocks, a Cinderella college football team of 1984. They've won 8 straight, coming from behind with a 25 fourth quarter outburst last week to beat NC State 35-28. Today, South Carolina will try for a school record 9th straight win against Florida State. South Carolina ranked 5th in the nation, highest ever for the Gamecocks. They've never had an undefeated season. Florida State ranked 10th, a gambling whirlwind capable of whipping anybody on a given day anywhere. South Carolina coach Joe Morrison, second season here in the Gamecock. Partisans and players are beginning to think he may have today, the 12th between Florida State and South Carolina, and never has there been the kind of stakes we have in a game. ABC Sports presents from out of the South, CFA football. The Florida State Seminoles and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Another $1 million game.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see today's Chevy, drive today's Chevy, live today's Chevy. By Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears. By Prudential, for life, health, auto, home. Get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance. And by exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob.
It is a capacity crowd on a clear, sunny, warm afternoon in Columbia, South Carolina, as the undefeated Gamecocks of South Carolina will host the Seminoles of Florida State. And here comes Florida State into the stadium. The Seminoles are ranked 10th in the nation with a record of 6-1-1. A 1-point loss to Auburn, a tie with Memphis State. Coach Bobby Bowden's 9th season, 72-28-1, and he is Florida State's all-time winning coach. And the reason we said this is a $1 million football game, the winner of this game between Florida State and South Carolina figures to have a very good chance to play in one of the New Year's Day games. Otherwise, they may have to go someplace else. Join the pandemonium as the hometown folks welcome their team, the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Their record is 8-0. They have a win over Georgia. Marvelous comeback victories on the road at Notre Dame and North Carolina State. This university has never won 9 games in a football season, and South Carolina started playing the game back in 1892. Joe Morrison in his second year as the coach with a record of 13-6. They're ranked 5th in the nation and one of 3 now undefeated, untied teams in Division 1A. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson along with Frank Broyle. Frank, this has got it. My goodness, can you believe the enthusiasm that exists in the Midlands of the state of South Carolina? However, we may need a 3-digit scoreboard to handle it today.
Keith, one of the coach's suggestion was that the first team to score 70 points be declared the winner. But why are both teams so successful? They have that ideal mixture between running and passing. And when you go a little bit further, you examine the record, you see the running. They can run both power inside, you close in, they go outside, you bring them up, they throw the football, and got the ability to do all of this because the quarterbacks, the operators of both teams can run and pass equally well. They stress the option play, which puts so much pressure on the defense, gives them too many alternatives, and that's the reason they're scoring 38 points for Florida State a game and 34 for South Carolina.
Now, when you're conceding literally, and I think both coaching staffs have conceded, both teams are going to score offensively. That kind of puts the defensive guy in a hole. You know, he's got to make up his mind, contain or just lay his ears back and go.
Well, he's got, I think all coaches, both squads will recognize and believe that the offenses are better than the defenses of both teams. So what they've been stressing all week is limit these plays, hold them to a minimum, avoid the big plays. That's where you lose football games. And they've been stressing to make the tackles, missed tackles, determine so many games like this, and in particular, Keith, when the other team has the threats that they have at the wide receivers and the running backs.
You've been getting a little bored with the I formation and some of the other more staid. Boy, today you're going to see it. These two coaches have got
everything in the book. Bootlegs, reverses, reverse passes. They'll pull out all the stops in this game. Bobby Bowden has always been known to do this, and when you look at the substitute, the backup quarterbacks for both teams who may play a prominent role in this game, they have been pulling their teams out in very difficult situations. We can expect anything today.
The reason we're calling it $1 million ball game, this one like the one last week, Penn State and Boston College. The winner of this game remains very much in the hunt for a New Year's Day game. That pays over $2 million. If they don't go to a bowl game New Year's Day, then they play for $750,000. So it is a big ball game, not only in the sense of history for South Carolina, but in the real sense of money.
On the field for the opening kickoff of this ball game, and let me update you very quickly with two very important notes. Running back for Florida State, the All-American Greg Allen. He drew all the attention of the coaches in pregame warm-ups. Bobby Bowden wanted to see if, in fact, he could play. He must have impressed him because he won't even play. He will start this ball game, and he will alternate throughout with Roosevelt Snipes. Another bit, Eric Thomas will not start at quarterback for Florida State. Instead, it will be junior walk-on Kirk Coker. He played last week in relief when Thomas went out with a hip pointer. He led the team to 3 second-half touchdowns, threw for 203 yards. They want to see how he can play, Keith.
All right, Tim Brent, thanks very much. And we're ready for the kickoff. South Carolina in the Garnet uniforms. They'll appear red to you. Scott Hegler will kick it off. 3 deep people for Florida State in the white shirts. It's a sailing, hooking kick that is taken 1 yard deep in the end zone by Roosevelt Snipes, who finds a big hole on the sidelines. He had one man to beat for the touchdown, and that one man got him. It was Scott Hegler, the place kicker, who saved the TD. Watch this hole open up for the return.
This is the way you return a kickoff. You see the hole, you turn it on, 45 yards, he gets it back and caught the ball on the goal line. Hegler, the kicker, makes a great play to prevent a touchdown.
And Florida State starts just short of the 45-yard line on their side of the field. We're at the home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, South Carolina, and Florida State turns around and goes to work with Coker at quarterback. And he is caught behind the line of scrimmage, brought down by Frank White, a defensive tackle who had looped in and nailed him. Kurt Coker starts at quarterback, a junior, 6'1", 180. Cletus Jones, 6 feet, 220 at fullback. Greg Allen, 6-footer, 200, is the I-back, tailback, and everything else. Hassan Jones, a split end, 6'1", and Jesse Hester, the speedster, is a 170-pounder at 6 feet tall. So the loss is back to the 41, where it is second down and 14. Coker turns and hands inside, and Cletus Jones, the fullback, gets up across the 45, just near the 46. Pat Carter is a true freshman tight end, 6'4", 230. Ionata, a tackle, 270 pounds. Big guy, John. Jamie Duke, 6'1", 270 at guard. The center is Parrish Barwick, 6 feet, 270. The other guard is Dan Morris, 6'1", 245. Strong tackle is Jimbo Thompson, 6'7", 230. It is third down and 9 from the 46 for the Seminoles. They're 47% on the year on third down conversions, and Coker back. Hands it off to Greg Allen. Allen playing with a sore leg. Loses his footing at the 47, and the Gamecocks have held, and they will force the Florida State Seminoles into a punt in their first offensive possession. They're your defensive alignment for South Carolina. So Lewis Berry will come into the ball game as the punter for Florida State. Just takes one step. He's averaging 43.5 yards per punt. Jerry Dunlap is deep for the Gamecocks, standing back inside his 15. The kick is away. It's a high-hanging, good kick for Dunlap at the 11. Wiggles away on the sidelines and hits the chalk up around the 22. So there, South Carolina will go to work. First down, and look at these scores. Texas losing today to Houston, 29-15. That will throw that Cotton Bowl situation down there into turmoil. And one of the greatest comebacks of all time in college football or any football, Miami led 31-0 at halftime. Maryland comes back to beat Miami 42-40. So, Tim Brandt, that ought to get you about 4 feet off the ground.
Oh, I love it, Keith.
Alan Mitchell will open at quarterback for the Gamecocks, 6 foot, 175 pounds. Mike Hold will be in shortly. They alternate him. Quentin Lewis and Thomas Dendy are the running backs. Eric Poole is a wide receiver, and Ira Hillary, 5'10", 185-pound speedster. It is number 11, Alan Mitchell, opening as he has all season, comes down the line on the option, gives the ball to Thomas Dendy, and he's decked right along the line of scrimmage. The offensive front for South Carolina, Chris Corley is the tight end, 6'3", 250. At tackle, Bill Barnhill, 6'4", 255. Del Wilkes, a guard, at 6'3", 265. Tom Garner, a center, is 245 pounds. The other guard is Jim Walsh, 6'2", 265. Carl Wumble, 6'4", 260, the other tackle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Georgia boys on the offensive front for South Carolina. Second down and 10. Mitchell is back to throw. His pass is away to the sidelines, and it is thrown behind Ira Hillary, number 1. The defensive unit for Florida State. And Bobby Bowden would suggest to you it may be a little better than some recent scores would indicate, because some of these people have been hurt, and particularly in the ball game, he said, at Auburn, where they had to move people around into strange positions. And then last week in that 96-pointer they had out in Tempe, Arizona, you wouldn't have thought anybody was playing defense. But Bobby still thinks it's a pretty good defensive football team.
Keith, he told me yesterday that his team has been hot and cold on defense, and he's hoping for a hot hand today.
Back goes Mitchell on third down. Pressure's on. Get a hold of him. Gets his pass off up the middle. The pass is off the hands of Eric Poole. So Alan Mitchell, even with the Florida State defender hanging on to him, is able to get the pass away, and Poole almost hauled it in.
When you, in this part of the field, you want to throw the ball short. Give your quarterback a chance to throw the ball in front of the linebackers. Mitchell was just off target as Poole was open and would have made close to the first down.
Well, I thought Poole should have caught it, but he was looking at that white shirt coming at him 60 miles an hour.
At 180 degrees, which is a major force of the collision.
Tom O'Connor is the punter for South Carolina, averaging 41.2 per kick this season. Low snap, gets it out. It's a tail dragger, now gets up into the wind a little bit, but it hangs up there long enough, forcing number 24, Darren Holloman, to call a fair catch for Florida State back at the Seminoles 37. That was a 42-yard punt.
Boxing medalists make their pro debut. Breland, Whitaker, Taylor, Holyfield, and Biggs. Thursday night live on ABC.
I will not be surprised when the final accounting is in today that we'll have a new attendance record at Williams-Brice Stadium. 74,500, the ultimate capacity. I think there's more than that here. Roosevelt Snipes is in the backfield for Florida State, along with Cletus Jones. And South Carolina jumps all over Cletus Jones as he pops in there for about 1.5 yards to 2.
Here, the offensive comparisons, you can see that both teams are equally effective with the run, the pass, and when you're able to do this, look at the scoring. NCAA lead by FSU 38-6. South Carolina not far behind, 34-6.
Second down and 8 for the Seminoles. They're working right now out of the eye. But they do things out of the eye. Here's the pitch back. They're turning into an option play out of the eye. And Roosevelt Snipes, the 175-pounder, runs across the 40 and close to the 43. They're about 3 to 4 yards short of their first down.
Here are the defensive comparisons. You can see that the opponents are scoring a lot of points also. Neither defense is rated to have exceptional talent. I was interested in the South Carolina defensive points of interest. They say we're going to run together, we're going to play hard together, and we're going to out-second effort opponents. And they tell their team, don't watch the clock, don't look at the scoreboard, and just play hard and let the chips fall where they may, and that is their
Well, Otis Morris just left the ball game, Frank. Number 28, the right cornerback, hurt on the play. So they've lost the cornerback already, and Hinton Taylor comes in replacing him. Third down and 4, Florida State. It goes to Snipes, and he dives, and he's close. They may need the change for this, and it was the third or the fourth effort that got him there.
The strength of the South Carolina defense rests in their linebackers, as we look and see about the measurement.
They're bringing them in here.
Yeah. The three linebackers have made 310 tackles combined, with Seawright, maybe an All-American, the outside linebacker, with 108 tackles, and the middle linebacker Vogel has 111, and Hill, the weak side linebacker, 90. That shows you the strength of the defense, something that Florida State's going to have to handle.
Bobby Bowden, the Seminole head coach there. It's a guy you could spend weeks with. He's a fun man to be around. It's first down for the Seminoles. The ball is on the 47. They play on grass here in South Carolina. Here's the pitch coming outside to Snipes, and Snipes with a big cut and great speed. And he's out of bounds inside the 20 at the 15. Bryant Gilliard shoved him out of bounds.
The safety man missed the tackle at the line of scrimmage, something we said earlier. At the bottom of the screen, you're going to see this is the freeze option. We'll talk about that later. Faking the fullback, and Thomas pitches the ball out, and you can see 2 or 3 missed tackles there.
That was a pretty good move by Mr. Snipes to get in that crack, though.
Oh, he turned it on, Keith. When he saw a little daylight, he just accelerated through. 38-yard gain.
And the 15-yard line, first down for Florida State. So the Seminoles are the first to threaten. It goes to Snipes again. Big hole right side. And he's inside the 10 to the 9. Bryant Gilliard again brought him down. Free safety, a senior from Hinesville, Georgia.
Gilliard, the safety, is the 3rd leading tackler for South Carolina. The free safety is programmed to tackle on wide plays. We haven't discovered any way to block the free safety, and you can see he comes over untouched and saves what would have been a touchdown with a fine tackle.
He was the last hope.
The last red shirt.
Just outside the 8 of South Carolina. And second down for the Seminoles, and they go inside with a carry. And there isn't much there. Maybe a yard for Cletus Jones.
Cletus Jones is a story in itself. The fullback, he doesn't carry the ball that much, but he has over a 5-yard average. He's big, number 42, 220 pounds, good speed. You start worrying about Allen outside, and Jones will hurt you in the middle.
It is third down and 3 for Florida State at the South Carolina 7. Coker's pass, loop to the corner. Touchdown, Jesse Hester. A penalty flag waiting at the line of scrimmage. Against Florida State. Touchdown, wiped out.
Let's see the isolation on Hester. See the maneuver that he makes. You can see 24. Philpott is a substitute. He's in for Morris, and they go right to him with their great receiver, Hester. Good inside fake. Hard to cover, man for man, and a perfect throw by Coker, but to no avail.
Paul Schmidt is the referee. Bob Welch, umpire. Dick Taylor, linesman. Bob McGrath, line judge. Bob Bernard, field judge. Bill Lance, the back judge. And here's Florida State now looking at 3rd and 13 as the ball comes back out to the 17. They're going to run the reverse, carrying the ball. Hassan Jones, he can also throw it, and does. And it's caught for the quarterback, Coker. I told you these guys have everything in the world in the playbook. As the ball comes to Snipes, to Jones, and then the quarterback downfield hauls it in.
Jones had already completed one pass this season, 43-yard touchdown. Here was a beautiful execution of the reverse pass.
Down on the field, Frank.
Well, that would be a tough loss. Seawright is really the heart of the South Carolina defense.
I haven't picked up the number yet. Seawright. James Seawright, number 45, is the man hurt. He got caught in that what amounted to sweep blocking on that side of the field, and they took him down, and he's shaken up.
Bobby Bowden has always had a lot of gadget plays, but they are well planned. Every time they run the sweep, they peep to the weak side and see if the reverse is there. Something had told them that the reverse was there. Jones has to bubble back, give ground. It looks like the play's over, and to everybody's surprise, the quarterback is the receiver downfield, and it's a completion and a first down.
And they're carrying Seawright off the field, and that, folks, is bad news for South Carolina's side.
Seawright not only was a good inside linebacker, he's the kind of youngster that runs a 4.5 and just makes the saving tackles all over the field.
He had 29 last week. It's first down and goal to go for the Seminoles. The ball down on the 3 of South Carolina. This is Snipes looking for a hole. Goes for the corner. Touchdown. And no flag. So Florida State goes to the gadget play on the Carolina end of the field, and they set it up. They lose one touchdown because of penalty, but come back to cash it in, and it counts this time.
Well, when Snipes has the blazing speed, and Hill, the linebacker, just couldn't play it, and there was no quarterback. The man in motion coming across, put pressure. Hampton, the tight end, or the motion man was coming across. The quarterback was out of the play. No support.
Schmidt's kick is good. With 8 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first quarter, it is Florida State out to a 7-0 lead. Seminoles out over the Gamecocks. South Carolina undefeated. They have never won 9 games at this university in college football. That play by Snipes for the touchdown was his 5th in that possession, totaling 57 yards, as Florida State went 64 total in 8 plays. Raynard Brown and Kevin White are deep for Barry Barco's kickoff. Low driving spinning kick way back in the end zone, and his teammate says to Raynard Brown, no, don't do that. Yesterday, visiting with Joe Morrison, I asked Joe about the use of the 2 quarterback system that he's employing.
Well, we're very fortunate. Alan Mitchell does an excellent job of running the option, reading the defenses. Mike Holt has that uncanny ability to come off the bench and provide the big play. And so far this year, it's worked out very well for us. And he's had some real big plays coming off the bench.
And Mitchell is in there for his 2nd series. First down, South Carolina from the 20. Mitchell stands up, a little pop to the sidelines to Hillary. And Hillary is hit at the 25. He picked up 5 yards as the strong safety, Billy Allen, picked him off.
When you try to...
Now, Tim Brandt.
Keith, they just finished working on Seawright. It is his left knee. They don't think it is that bad. They think it is a sprain. He possibly could be back in the ballgame. Now, Otis Morris, sprained knee. They think he'll be back, but they have ice on it right now. Eric Poole, the wide receiver for South Carolina, he went in for x-rays. He may not be back. He has a bad thumb.
Thank you, Tim. Quarterback Mitchell keeps the ball and surges across the 30 for the first down. Good second effort run by Alan Mitchell, a junior from Batesburg, South Carolina.
When you try to defense the veer option that South Carolina runs, you try to force them into a passing game. Stop the running. That's Florida State's strategy. According to Bobby Bowden, we're going to get people up there and try to stop their running and force them into a passing game.
I'll tell you one thing, that being 7 points behind doesn't scare either one of these teams.
No, sir. And the reason they can score many, many points during the 60 minutes.
It is first down from the 31, and the ball goes inside to Quentin Lewis. And Quentin Lewis, a senior out of Midway, Georgia, hauls his 200 pounds into Brian Williams, but he's got a big gain out of it all the way near the 43.
The triple option is a read. You can see Mitchell read the ball right there. The tackle goes to the outside. The nose man misses the play, and Lewis makes the first down. The key man is the nose man for Florida State to see if he can tackle on the dive play. Stroud could not. Big gain resulting.
And on first down, here's the option again. Pitch back to Thomas Dendy, and Dendy spins into the open, and he's on his way. It's a 5-ball game if they can kick the extra point. Boy, I tell you, they're both exciting, aren't they? Dendy goes 57 yards.
Keith, the key block was made by Chris Corley, the tight end. He has to block the force, the cornerback coming up. He made a tremendous block that allowed Dendy to go into the secondary and turn it on for the touchdown.
Bill Bradshaw, the flanker, picked off the right corner, Eric Williams, too, which helped him some.
Excellent downfield blocking. The wide receivers, the tight end, all have to be blockers in the option offense for both teams. They cannot just be pass receivers. They have to be blockers.
The longest run of the year for Dendy. He scored the touchdown in that comeback victory over NC State last week. Scott Hagler's in for the extra point, and it's tied.
Let's go back and see the play again. Watch the middle of the screen. Watch Parley, the tight end, coming to the bottom of the screen. He makes the key block on the cornerback, Allen, and then, as we talked about earlier, missed tackles. Most long runs result in a missed tackle. Sometimes the ball carrier has the advantage. Then they made the back, missed him, and went on for the touchdown. Now from the end zone, we take another look. Watch the missed tackle. McCrary, the safety man, right there, 43. His feet slip out from under him. He really had no chance. A good block by the off tackle. I couldn't see his number, making the easy run for Dendy after he broke into the secondary. Good blocking, good execution, outstanding running.
And 7:12 to play in the first quarter. We're just getting warmed up.
One of the South Carolina coaches told me, hope they could hold the score down. I said, what do you mean? He said, we hope it don't get into the 40s. I couldn't believe it.
Here's the kickoff by Higler. It'll bounce in front of the receiver. It is picked up by Darren Holloman for Florida State. And Holloman finds a bit of a hole, gets over the 20, and then is drilled back. Boy, he got planted by Jerry Dunlop, number 29.
Now let's look at the blocking. Why are long runs made? Hillary, number 1, slows the cornerback down, and then look at the top of your screen, 57, Womble. The weak side tackle is going to come across. Number 50, a little bit further, maybe we can see it. Didn't quite catch it. But hustle by the left tackle on a play run to the right was the key block for the touchdown.
And from the 22, first down, Florida State now. They go double wide, bottom of the picture. Give the ball off to Snipes. And Snipes cuts it over the 25 to the 26. He is quick. 7-7 here. Let's check in on other scores with Jim Lampley.
Keith, down in Fort Worth, Texas Tech had gone ahead of TCU 13-3 late in the second quarter, but just before halftime, TCU got a touchdown from star running back Kenneth Davis to get back into it at 13-10. We remind you that the Horned Frogs go to the Cotton Bowl if they win the rest of the way. Keith?
Numbers on the Carolina scoring drive. Florida State now, second down and 6. Little pop thrown out to the tight end, Pat Carter. Carter gets loose on the sidelines, and the big freshman rumbles down the sidelines, and they're going to mark it out at the 41 of South Carolina. Paul Vogel got him.
When Jesse Hester makes the number 4, Jesse Hester blocks the back and allows the Ian Adams to go all the way for the big play. This is what we said earlier. The receivers right there, Hester, watch him block the safety, strong safety right there, 31. That allows the tight end to go into the secondary for the big play. Receivers block in this offense.
First down at the 41 of South Carolina. This is Snipes again. Slips and loses the grip with his outside foot, which he was trying to plant for the cutback. And he gets out of it about 5 yards as he nears the 36. USC out to a 3-0 lead over Washington. That's the Rose Bowl game out west today. Nebraska having it easy. Kirk Coker at quarterback. And of course, there's the story out of the Southeastern Conference today. 27-0. Florida rolling over Georgia.
Kirk Coker was a walk-on, Keith. His father was a high school coach. He has that savvy, according to Coach Bowden.
Second down and 5. Turns around, going to set up to throw it. Has nobody to throw to. Now he's got the scramble. He's got 24 available. Drills it to him, and the catch is made. Darren Holloman, a redshirt freshman, coming back to the football.
As we look at some other scores, but continuing about Coker, who was a walk-on quarterback, starting his first game, coming in relief last week against Arizona State. According to the coaches, he's a winner. He's raised in a coach's family. He knows football, has the knowledge, and he has got the guts of a gambler.
It's first down, Florida State at the South Carolina 26 on that catch by Holloman. Deep drop by Coker. He's had Hester wide open, but Hester loses his footing and falls down. They're playing on grass. The field is very firm here and very fast.
As we look at the grass, Keith, this field was an artificial surface for 13 years. They took the artificial surface out last year, had it grown this grass in 1 year. Yesterday it looked very good, but we once again see the short cleat, the half-inch cleat, not being able to hold up on give traction on the grass.
So it's second down and 10. There's Joe Morrison, 14 years, a fullback for the New York Giants. Went to school at the University of Cincinnati. Boy, has he got things humming here in Columbia, South Carolina. Coker back again. This time rolls it out a little bit, gets pressure. They got it. Good defensive charge by South Carolina as the Gamecocks come blowing in and drop Coker back on the 33. Glenn Woodley was the first man. Tony Guyton was the second man.
The Florida State passing attack requires a lot of time. Play action passes off of the option or off of the draw play allows the defense to really get in there. And that was a perfect example of the receivers being covered and the linemen tackling for the loss.
They call the defensive unit the Fire Ants. And it's third down and about 20. Whistle, stop him, as John Ionata looked to be the man who moved along the line of scrimmage.
There's a dead ball, illegal procedure on Florida State. It'll still be third down.
Well, look at here. Duke Blue Devils about to win a ball game. Not over it, mind you, fourth quarter. Clemson did beat Virginia Tech after a struggle, 17-10. And LSU having a hard time with the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Kentucky winning in the SEC. It is third down. The football is back at the 38, and they've got to go to the 16. So they need 23 yards roughly. Outside on the option to Snipes. One man to block in front of him. His speed is so great that it oftentimes will take two to get him, and it did that time. But he is well short of the first down as the Gamecocks get him at the 23.
Why would a team run on 3rd and 20? The option play is a pretty darn good play. When the opposing team plays some man-for-man defense, you can make a big play. Snipes came close to what he gained, 15, 7, I guess about 15 yards, didn't he, Keith?
Yeah.
Got him in field goal range.
40-yard field goal try coming now from Derek Schmidt, who is 6 out of 8 between the 40 and 50. He has not missed inside the 40. The holder is Kurt Coker, the quarterback. The kick is away. He's hooked it, and it's outside left. So the Fire Ants take heart over that as they turn away Florida State. 3:30 to go first quarter and 7-7.
Football, an all-time classic rivalry as powerful Nebraska meets the Oklahoma Sooners, or the Texas Longhorns tackle surprising TCU. Live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Tim Bryant back here at South Carolina. Behind me, they are taping the leg, the left knee of Jamie Seawright, the outstanding linebacker for the Gamecocks. They are going to reevaluate his knee, but right now it does not look like he will be back. The same with the cornerback for the Cox, that being Otis Morris. Both now out for the ball game, Keith.
Thank you, Tim. From the 22-yard line, South Carolina comes in now with Raynard Brown in the backfield. The quarterback remains Alan Mitchell. Mitchell turns upfield. He gets a yard.
Last drive for a touchdown, we saw South Carolina run the option play 3 times, and the handoff, the quarterback keep, and the pitch went 80 yards. Don't see any upsets there, do we, Keith?
Well, Iowa's getting whooped right now.
That's a big one. Both teams, Arkansas and Baylor. SMU's come back.
Second down, 9. Mitchell back, looks, wants to throw deep, can't find anybody. Now got to scramble. He's got some help on that side of the field. Now his pass is away, and the pass is caught by Quentin Lewis out of the backfield. And Lewis is up across the 45 and down at the 46. Martin Mayhew and Eric Williams finally get him down.
Never underestimate the value of a running quarterback. Someone who has speed, sufficiently foot speed to make people miss him. Mitchell has nowhere to go with the football. 3 men rushing, but he has that quickness, the awareness. He moves over, the instinct, and finds Lewis the back coming out of the backfield for the big first down.
Lewis, of course, in there. He's played a lot this year, but he's in as a starter today because of Kent Haygood breaking his leg, who had been the starter. This is a surge ahead by Raynard Brown, a 185-pound sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, and he's up near midfield with it. Those are Ivy scores coming in now. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. A 7-7 ball game here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina.
Both offenses seem to have the advantage over both teams' defenses at this point, as we had suspected.
Second down, long 6. Pressure's on. Mitchell gets away from it, gets the pass deep downfield, and it is caught. Chris Corley, the tight end. And he's way down yonder at the 13.
Corley's going to make a great effort to catch the ball and put his foot down to make it a legal reception. You're going to see him go up. Sensational play to catch this ball and come down inbounds. Watch him go up. Now he's going to put that left foot down right there. That makes it a legal reception.
Yeah, but here's why it worked, Frank. McCrary, the free safety, is 5'11", 170. Corley is 6'3", 250. That's a mismatch. This is Lewis. And he's down at the 5.
South Carolina has a very diversified offense. When they don't want to run the option play, they turn and pitch it to their outstanding backs. And I believe it was Dendy that made the good block. It was on the cornerback that let Lewis, who is substituting for their leading ball carrier, Haygood, make the yardage.
It looked like Florida State was going to go ahead with its second touchdown, and a penalty killed them. Now South Carolina has come surging right back. And it's second down 2 from the 5. Mitchell wants to throw it. They get him back at the 10.
Well, that was a mistake. The pass on the short yardage is good, but not get thrown for a loss. The quarterback should have released the ball and had it out of bounds so that they would have third and short again on the waist down. Never get sacked for the loss.
So this now will bring up third down. Ball back outside the 10, just barely. And they've got to go just inside the 4 for the first down. So it's a better part of 7 yards on third down.
Frank Sadler, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina, has a tremendous reputation among coaches as a great offensive coordinator.
Lob down to the goal line for the tight end, Chris Corley. And this time, Brian McCrary makes the play. He wouldn't let that big hope get in front of him.
I believe if Corley would have come back to the ball, a little jump pass, something that is very difficult, right over to the tight end. Let's see if Corley could come back to the ball. He doesn't. He keeps going towards the goal line and gave McCrary a chance to come in front and knock it down. This is used to drive defensive coaches crazy trying to stop this play from the field.
Hegler for the field goal try. Hits it high and good. And 16 seconds to play in the first quarter. Scott Hegler has kicked the field goal of 27 yards to give the South Carolina Gamecocks a 10-7 lead. Had a 42-41 loss to Auburn earlier. Won last week 52-44. I asked him how his health is.
I'm scared to go to the doctor. I won't check. I will not check it. Half of my health. My offensive health is excellent. My defensive health is not doing so good.
And he may have the same problem today. South Carolina ahead 10-7 as a knuckleball kickoff, bouncing on the ground, rolling around, finally picked up by Roosevelt Snipes. And Snipes wiggling around in traffic. You've got to respect him because he is so quick and fast. Quick to get started and fast once he's gone. 11 seconds to go first quarter now as Florida State will go to work at the 26. Greg Allen is back into the ball game for Florida State. He carries a sore knee from the Arizona State win last week.
In a game in which he averaged over 10 yards, a first down per rushing attempt. 223 yards on 21 attempts.
He is really an outstanding running back. So the Seminoles trailing by 3 now will go to work. Coker's pass quickly to Hester, and Hester across the 30 to the 33. And he's picked up the better part of 7 yards on that play. Hinton Taylor makes the tackle. So after 15 minutes in South Carolina, we've got a 10-7 Gamecock lead. The first quarter, Frank, reflect the basic nature of these two teams.
Very impressive, as even as you can be. And the reason they're successful, balance between running and passing on both teams. Total yards just virtually even.
Second down and about 4. This is Greg Allen. No place to go. No chance. Back on the 25. Now you're going to get a penalty flag. I don't know whether it was the retaliator or whether somebody got there a little late.
Well, there was only one white shirt there, number 86, Scott.
The dead ball, personal foul in South Carolina.
Somebody got there late. Looked to me like it was Tommy Chaikin that might have arrived a little late.
South Carolina is so fired up. They have Allen, a great runner, for a loss. 2 fine defensive plays. Brooks, number 23, the strong safety, back there like he should be. Now the other teammates come in, and there goes the piling on right there.
It's 99.
99. Danny Miller, the linebacker, taking the place of Seawright, the injured Seawright.
So the penalty gives Florida State a first down at the 40. Kurt Coker running the offense today. Allen, a 200-pounder, and he slashes for 5 up to the 45. Well, next week we've got 2 games for you. Check your local listings. We've got the traditional out of the Big 8. It'll be played at Lincoln, Nebraska this year between the Cornhuskers and Oklahoma, and Texas and TCU. The Longhorns defeated today. TCU was struggling today and still are against Texas Tech. See, the Houston beat Texas. Nebraska and Oklahoma both winning. Second down and 5. Little flip over the top. It goes to the tight end, Pat Carter, and Carter gets the first down if it holds. There's a penalty flag thrown along by one of the linesmen near the line of scrimmage.
One of the toughest passes in football, as they discuss the penalty, is hitting your tight end after you fake to the running back. The reason is the linebackers, Keith, have to come up and stop the running back. And then when you raise up and hit that tight end, and that Adams is a freshman, 6'3", they say, holding on to the tight end is what it was.
Pat Carter.
Pat Carter, just a true freshman. What a talent he is.
Face off the penalty here, and we face off our way to Jim Lampley in New York.
We remind you that today in Boston College's victory over Army, Doug Flutie became the all-time NCAA career record holder in passing yardage. He passed Ben Bennett in the 3rd quarter on a day on which Flutie wound up with 19 of 29 for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns, playing with special $750 shoulder pads to protect his separated shoulder. Back to you, Keith.
A roaring crowd of Williams-Brice Stadium as Florida State on first down at the 45. Go into the middle, and the Fire Ants jump all over Cletus Jones.
Keith, there's the Gamecock. And they are fired up in this state, and Joe Morrison it's no fluke. He is just an outstanding coach. He knows how to win. 14 years in NFL, he looks the part, kind of reminds me of Bear Bryant. I think he's that dominant factor, having played pro football and successful coach. Great future for him.
Second down and 8. Coker keeping it, caught from behind. Brought down by Carl Hill, the weak side linebacker, number 85.
One of the things that hurts the option is the weak side blitz, and Hill, the outside linebacker, number 85, has 4.6 speed. Coker's trying to lay fake up the fullback. He cannot get outside. Those big arms pull him down from behind. That is how to play the weak side linebacker on the option play.
Third down and 11 after the loss. Coker's pass down the middle to Carter, the tight end, and he's short of the first down. Brought down at the South Carolina 42 by Fitzgerald Davis. Bobby now starting to pace the sidelines and ask some questions here about how come we're not scoring more.
Well, South Carolina defense, gang tackling, pursuit, that's the name of the game on defense, and they run and
they're going after him, Frank. They got 10 people up there.
It's a good place to foul block right here.
Lewis Berry gets it out, and they're going to force a fair catch inside the 20, and they do. at around the 17-yard line. Jerry Dunlap handles it all right with 11 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the first half. Carolina leads by 3, and they have the ball, and Seawright's on his way to the doctor. Gamecocks had won their first 5. They went on the road for the first time. A tough trip to Notre Dame. They won there. I talked to Joe Morrison about it.
It was, being on the road, going into a place like Notre Dame that has such rich history and tradition in football, and that was our first road trip of the year, and we were down up there, and but there was really no sense of losing the football game on the sidelines. Everyone thought that we were going to win it. It was just a matter of when.
They came back to win 36-32. Raynard Brown and Anthony Smith now in the backfield for South Carolina. And Mitchell, Alan Mitchell, no place to go this time, is caught and brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Isaac Williams, a junior from Sanford, Florida.
The strength of the Florida State defense is in their linebackers, and Isaac Williams, the best defensive lineman, big and strong and likes to penetrate, tries to penetrate, and he did on the last play.
Second down, 11. On first down plays, trying to run the ball so far today against Florida State. The Gamecocks have run for 80 yards on first down, but zip on second and third. They've had to go to the pass. This time they stay with the run on second down, and they're going to lose another yard on it. Raynard Brown carrying it.
Florida State anticipated the run on this part of the field, which is you would expect, and they got everybody up on the line of scrimmage and stopped 2 running plays.
Gamecocks go double wide, bottom of the picture now. And it is 75,000 plus, which is the largest home crowd ever for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Third down and 12 as Alan Mitchell sets up to throw it. They run him out of the pocket. Gets it off on a little dump play, and it is incomplete. It stayed on the hands of Raynard Brown for quite some time, but he couldn't hold on, and there's a penalty flag thrown back around where the quarterback was knocked down. Was he over the line of scrimmage?
Had an illegal pass. Past the line when he threw the ball.
Yep, I thought he might have been. He was close to it. So he had third down and 12, and he had just stepped over the line of scrimmage when he released the pass. And so you lose it down with that, and in comes the punter for South Carolina, Tom O'Connor.
You lose 5 yards in the down, so they take the penalty. It'll be fourth down regardless. Just 5 yards further back.
There's some history on this Florida State special teams. Blocked 8 punts and 1 place kick.
Joe Weasel is a designated kick blocker. I think he has blocked 4 punts and 1 field goal this season. Remarkable.
O'Connor in the end zone, figures to hit it around the goal line. There are 10 Seminoles up there. What are they going to do? Take the 25 an hour to get it off just before the clock ran out. Oh, a dandy kick by O'Connor. Runs Holloman all the way back to his 33. He kicked that thing 67 yards. And a penalty flag is thrown at the corner of the tackle. That'll be a face mask called, Frank, on Steve Gabbard.
Either face mask or piling on. I couldn't tell. Good call, Keith.
It goes in the books as a 57-yard punt, but he kicked the ball, a 50-yard punt. He kicked the ball at the goal line.
With a 5-yard face mask.
And Holloman retreated all the way back to his 33 before he could find a little room to work.
5-yard penalty on the face mask when it's just not turning, and we'll be right back after this.
Ball. AFC West playoff hopefuls go at it when the 7-3 Raiders take on the 8-2 Seahawks. Live at 9 Eastern on ABC.
10:22 to go in the first half. The Florida State Seminoles, after the penalty of 5 yards, move up to their own 49 for a first down. South Carolina leading by 3, 10-7. Kirk Coker at quarterback. Roosevelt Snipes is the tailback or I-back. Ball kept by Coker. And a little headbutt at midfield, and there the play stops. Paul Vogel, the middle linebacker, put his helmet right on the helmet of the Florida State quarterback. And Vogel's going to win that match.
Vogel is the middle linebacker. He keys the quarterback. He's the leading tackler on the scheme of defense that South Carolina uses. He must be the leading ball carrier if they're going to have success. He has 111 steps. Leading tackler. Excuse me.
2nd down and 9. South Carolina linebackers well off now, and they're dropping in short zones. There's a little flip out to Darren Holloman, and Holloman is caught short of midfield at the 49. Again, let's check in with Jim.
Just for any of you who may have missed the details earlier, second-ranked Texas's 4-week tightrope ended today as they fell to Houston 29-15 in Austin. Only the 7th loss for Texas at Austin since 1968. The victory facilitated for Houston by 9 Texas turnovers, including 5 Todd Dodge interceptions. And Gerald Landry, the Houston quarterback, completed only 4 passes himself, but 2 of those were for touchdowns. So Texas now falls to 6-1-1. Next week they will play TCU. If TCU can win the remainder of their games, today against Texas Tech, next week against Texas, and then against Texas A&M, it will be the Horned Frogs who will go to the Cotton Bowl for the first time since 1958. Keith?
And you know what's going to happen, Jim? Jim Wacker's going to start looking for a lake with stumps just under the water.
He's done a great job at TCU. He had a tremendous career at Southwest Texas. He's won wherever he's been. And my premise on coaches is they win.
That's
good
Willie
coaches win
McEntee,
everywhere.
defensive end, coming off the field. He is the 3rd key South Carolina defender hurt in this ball game. The 3rd one. 3rd down and 10 for Florida State. Hooker deep. Shoots it down the middle. Pass is incomplete through the hands of Hassan Jones and falls away incomplete.
Florida State took possession at midfield and good chance to move the ball and get in scoring range, but the South Carolina defense came and rose to the occasion. Right here, the ball's behind Jones. He doesn't concentrate on it. He did have the eye contact as he turned to the inside to make the reception. It goes incomplete.
Lewis Berry for the punt. 44 and 25 on his 2 earlier kicks. With a knuckleball coming downfield, but it takes a Seminole roll and will roll dead at the 14-yard line of South Carolina. With 8 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the first half, a 36-yard punt. Oh, have we got a dandy for you next Monday night on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. The Los Angeles Raiders, who have been slapped around some lately, and the Seattle Seahawks, who have been rolling right along in hot pursuit of the Denver Broncos out in that AFC Western Division. That will be a good one. Next Monday night at 9 Eastern Time, 6 out on the West Coast. Mike Hold now is in at quarterback for South Carolina. Hold, a 195-pound junior from Tempe, Arizona, and his greeting is rather pronounced by the Seminoles as they swarm all over Quentin Lewis. Mike Hold is the young man who has led South Carolina to the comeback victories. He came into the Notre Dame game, was in the game against North Carolina State. But Joe Morrison had this basic country comment when somebody asked him, explain the why do you go to the 2-quarterback system, as we did earlier, and why don't you change and give them one guy? And he said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so far, it's been rolling right along as Hold steps up quickly. Now he's got to run for his life. And that pass will be incomplete, intended for number 41, tight end Danny Smith, and here's Tim Brent.
Keith, you mentioned the problems that South Carolina is having defensively. Willie McEntee, they just brought him off. They wheeled him away in a wheelchair very quickly. He has a very serious hip pointer. They don't think he'll be back. He can't walk. They're very concerned about him. So that means Seawright is out, their active linebacker. Otis Morris is out, their cornerback. A lot of pressure on him today with the option. And now Willie McEntee.
Well, that's tough, Frank. You lose 3 defensive players like that.
South Carolina is not too deep on defense. Mike Hold is a punter, Keith, and you can see how he lines up into a shotgun and then comes up. Wouldn't be surprised if they clipped him.
31, Thomas Dindy carries the ball on a quick pop over the right side. Doesn't get a whole lot out of it. And that will bring up 4th down and the punt by South Carolina.
Hold is a better passer than Mitchell, the starting quarterback. Both quarterbacks have played effective football, and Joe Morrison said, don't change. I'm superstitious.
High kick. Beautiful kick by O'Connor. Wynn got it and runs Holloman all the way back on the fair catch to his 25. Boy, has O'Connor turned in a couple of dandies. 50, and this one went 54 yards with 7:43 to go in the first half. Mike Cole talking to Joe Morrison yesterday about his double quarterback system. He had this comment about Mike.
Well, he has excellent ability, and I think by the same token, by the time he gets in the ball game, our coaches in the booth and on the sideline have had time to get the defenses, especially on first down, second down, the percentages. So he has a little bit of an edge when he goes in the ball game, but he has a great knack of making something happen, and so far it's all been good.
And Florida State with the ball now as they come up. Roosevelt Snipes has 81 of the 82 yards on the ground by Florida State. Coker's pass to the sidelines to Hester, and he stone fingers it out of bounds. He took his eyes off the ball and just flat dropped it.
South Carolina has a ritual that they do on every play. The defense runs all the way to the ball. Every man on the defense runs to the ball. As we look at the career of Jesse Hester, you can see what an effective receiver he is.
He can do so many things, right?
Oh.
Throw the ball, run that reverse.
He ran the reverse for, 100-something yards against Miami, 102 yards to be exact.
He's dropped 2 passes today, though. So it's an element of concentration that's missing from Jesse's game, but I expect he'll find it. This is Coker running in traffic. One of the things about the way Florida State runs that veer and the option is the quarterback is right in the middle of the melee. He's right on the line of scrimmage.
And that's a good point, Keith, because if Coker had a little more time, Jones was wide open for a touchdown. As we look at the top 10 and what they did today, we see what? 1 losing and 3 have lost. 3 have lost and 2 are losing. Yeah. And 1 plays later. Boy, this has been some day in college football.
3rd down and 5 for Florida State.
Here's the blitz. First time.
Coker puts it up for Hester. Jesse's got it. You knew it wouldn't last. He's out of bounds inside the 35 down near the 33. Trying to defend is Chris Major, and it's no rap on Chris because Hester is a burner.
You can see that the ball was thrown, as Keith mentioned earlier, right the line of scrimmage. All the quarterback Coker wanted to do was lay it up over the defensive back and let Hester run under it. Let's see the timing. Major is the best defender, but Hester, you saw his little burst. He went right by Major. Now the ball is come right over the top like a center fielder catching a long fly for the reception.
And it's first down Florida State, South Carolina 33. This is Snipes to the 30 in a penalty flag. And that came out of the umpire's pocket. Most oftentimes that's going to get you dinged for holding.
The Florida State passing game has been successful on the play action at the line of scrimmage, Keith, as you mentioned. The passes where Coker drops back and throws play action have not been open and not successful. Coker is 6 out of 9 for 90 yards. Vogel is the middle linebacker. Linebackers, they play that middle role. They're the leaders. They're the key. All they do is read the play and go to it, play off blocks. Fine play by Vogel. The leading tackler pulls Snipes down for a short gain.
Somebody had him by the coattail, though, and that's where your holding came from. 6 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half. South Carolina leading 10-7. First down and 20. Ball back on the Carolina 43. Coker's pass to the sidelines. That one is drilled into Herb Gaynor, and Herb pulls it down. He's a redshirt freshman, split in. Short of the first down, however. Again, here's Jim.
Keep in mind that in Iowa City, Iowa is trying to safeguard its Rose Bowl chances, trailing 17-3 with 9:18 to go in the game. Owen Gill, having moved to tailback to replace Ronnie Harmon, scored there from 3 yards out. 17-10. Chuck Long, who didn't play the first half, now in the ball game and trying to bring the Hawkeyes back, Keith.
Yeah, Chuck trying to play with a very sore leg. Got a very severely bad bruise on the knee area. And he's hobbled, but he's in there. He's a gamer. Here comes Coker. Outside it goes, and bang, down goes Snipes as number 13, Chris Major, the left cornerback, was stepping up to make the play. Good hit by Major.
The option play has to be stopped by the cornerbacks and the safety. The front seven just cannot do it. Major just goes right through the blocker. You can see that Panton missed the block. Major makes a great play to pull Snipes down, just like it should be played from the defensive side.
From the 34-yard line of South Carolina, it is 3rd down 11. Gamecocks expecting pass as the linebackers drop to the short zones, and the whistle stops it, and the laundry comes fluttering off the line. Looks like a Florida State mistake.
It seemed like the offensive guard moved before the snap count. Dead ball foul.
This is twice now. Florida State's been down on the South Carolina side and made a mistake and hurt
Illegal
themselves.
procedure against Florida State. 3rd down.
This quarter has been played in South Carolina territory, but Florida State has not been able to get anything on the scoreboard. South Carolina cannot make a first down to gain some better field position.
Well, you've known Bobby Bowden a long time. Is this time for the gadget play?
Yeah, probably the pass of Jones throwing it.
He's checking off. Nope, goes straight back. They get him. Back at the 49. James Sumter and Glenn Woodley. The 3rd sack of the ball game for the Fire Ants.
Right up the middle, the pressure. The receivers are covered. The quarterback, Coker, had thought the blitz was coming, but South Carolina moved back. Here's a gutty little football player. 94 Woodley really pushing back there. He's only 5'11", 220 pounds, but he plays much bigger.
On 4th and long, they go to the punt for Berry. Very, very high, and again, South Carolina is not going to have very good field position, as Jerry Dunlop has to make the fair catch all the way back on his 14. You've got 4 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the first half.
Fall, an all-time classic rivalry as powerful Nebraska meets the Oklahoma Sooners, or the Texas Longhorns tackle surprising TCU. Live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
A 10-7 ball game. South Carolina holding the edge. They have the ball first down. At their own 14, Mike Hold is the quarterback.
Hold is changing the play.
Pitches out to Dindy. And with a man in front of him, gets it up to the 18 before he is knocked out of bounds. There's Steve Nicholas, son of Jack. Jack's going to drop by and visit at halftime. Member of the Florida State Seminoles football team.
Plays wide receiver. Got some great players ahead of him. Hester, Jones.
Gainer. 2nd down 6. The referee stops it here.
I've never seen the referee call that particular foul. And Joe Morrison is trying to find out why would the referee call the foul. Umpire might have. It wasn't delay of the game.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure.
I asked the coaches that why do they think Joe Morrison is such a good coach. They say he's stable. He hires good people, gives them the authority to coach. His players love it.
Hold back. 2nd down and 11. Zips one. Good for Hillary. Oh, he's got a gun.
You said it correctly. Hold does have a big league arm. And when you give a quarterback like Hold that much time, the defense cannot cover the field and the depth, the width and the depth. Watch how long he has. Nobody in the picture. He looks, finally finds Hillary wide open on the curl, right there. Number 1 catches it for the first down.
At the 37-yard line, Hold down the line, keeps it. He sort of bumped into the back coming up, but he pulled the ball away, kept it himself, and picked up 4 yards. Fred Jones brought him down. Well, the Olympians go pro on Thursday in New York, and you'll see it here on ABC starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Breland, Biggs, Whitaker, Holyfield, and Taylor all taking the next step in their boxing career. Make that a 5-yard pickup for Mike Holt. 2nd down and 5. Poole is lined up at the bottom of the picture. Play goes inside with Dendy carrying. And Dendy roots around and finds about 3 yards before they finally get him down near the 45-yard line.
The key play in this drive was the pass that Holt threw to Hillary. Deep curl, 1st down. Now it's got South Carolina out in good position where they can run the entire offense. Throw on running downs or vice versa. Just mix it up. Not be stereotyped.
3rd and 2. They're 0 for 4 on 3rd down plays today, but they've got it this time as Dendy shoots through there and goes to midfield. Two minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first half.
Power right up the middle, right behind the big offensive line. Taylor, the leading tackler for Florida State, the leader of this football team, number 58, was way over to the left, away from the play, but he does come over and prevents a much longer run, but not before the 1st down.
One of the things that's becoming evident, Frank, is both teams have tough runners who run well in traffic.
Inside power really sets up the rest of the offense.
Hold on a deep drop. Now runs out of the pocket, and he's got a problem. Well, look at this. He gets away. Gets his pass off. He's got a man. Hillary at the 5. He looks like he's been watching Flutie.
That is a sensational play. The one thing that the coaches told me before this game, you can't let Mike Holt scramble. He'll beat you if you don't keep him in the pocket. Here is a clear indication of why they felt that way. Plenty of time. But the amazing thing is how he gets away right here from 2 Seminoles. He breaks right between them. He has the presence of mind to look up, and there he finds the receiver wide open, right on the 5.
Quentin Lewis to the 2.
Hillary is the wide receiver. He's going down, and while all of this is taking place in the backfield, he's trying to get open. He's coming across the field. Hey, give me the ball. But the thing is, he has a little bit of advantage on Riley, the quarterback. Riley cannot get to him now. When Holt first sees him, he's quick. He comes right up, and watch him concentrate on the ball. Catches it sliding in the 1st. Riley had no chance to make the play.
It's 2nd down and goal from just short of the 2.
Here's Mike Holt lining up behind the backs. Now he walks up, looks over the defense.
Once he gets there, he's ready to go, and he gives it to Dendy, and Dendy is in there. Touchdown.
Here it is again. Good running by Dendy. He's going to get hit on the 2-yard line. Good backs. Do not go down when the first one hits you. Taylor's the best linebacker. He doesn't lock his arms around him. Misses the play, and Dendy just twists, turns, goes in for the touchdown.
And at 1:14 to go in the first half, the extra point try by Hagler is good. Well, how do you do? 17-7, South Carolina. Here's a look at Florida State's campus. I was going to say a visit with a couple of old Giants, Frank, but I won't say that. They were 2 great ones in the great success of the New York Giants football team. Frank, Joe had a long talk, and part of it we'll show you.
14 years he was in the NFL. Joe Morrison, that is. That was a Mike Holt drive. He made the key plays for South Carolina.
Oh, he just barely got it in. He knocked that thing all the way back to the back of the end zone, and it dropped with about a foot to spare, so it'll come out to the 20. And to amplify what Frank was just talking about, the South Carolina Gamecocks went 86 yards in 8 plays. Holt passed and ran for 73 of those 86 yards.
The key play being the scramble. One thing Florida State feared the most was Holt running around, pass defense breaks down, and the receivers find some open spot, and Hole has the presence of mind, the arm to get it to him.
Now, Florida State with only 1:14 to go in the first half trying to respond, trailing 17-7. Coker gives it to Snipes, and Snipes is down at the 23. Boy, that is a gang tackling bunch in the red shirts down there.
All 11 players have to come up into the huddle at the tackle. Something that they just say, we've got to be a team, we've got to be involved. As we watch the clock, Florida State has 3 timeouts left, but they haven't looked good in this quarter. The second quarter, they had some scoring opportunities, couldn't cash them in.
Well, they wasted about almost 15 seconds before they finally called timeout. Now here's a look at the University of South Carolina.
The University of South Carolina is in the forefront of a progressive New South, a crossroads for international leaders and experts from every academic field. USC is a sanctuary for academic excellence and economic initiative. The University of South Carolina.
I think Bobby Bowden is over there with his headset on. You saw that a moment ago, talking to his quarterback, Coker. Eric Thomas, who had won the job in the fall training when Coker got hurt, has not played today, but he is available if Bowden decides to make a quarterback change. But right now, he's a little bit exasperated that they haven't been able to move the ball into the end zone. That's our game for next week. Nebraska starting today, number 3 in the coaches poll, number 2 in other polls, and Oklahoma, number 9. And then, of course, Texas was defeated today, and that it will be a big ball game in the Southwest Conference next week. It's 2nd down and 7 now from the 23. Coker back, has some time, gets it off. Hester's there. Jesse's out of bounds, stopping the clock. First down up on the 44. 41 seconds.
Coker has to throw this pass while Hester is breaking inside, and it was beautifully thrown. You have to anticipate where Hester's going to end up. The ball is on time, catches the ball plenty of time before he goes out of bounds.
Hester now has caught 3 balls for 65 yards and dropped 2. First down, Seminoles. Coker again the other way, and his receiver making his cut. Hassan Jones falls down, and he was wide open.
The defensive back was given plenty of cushion. Just 35 seconds left to play, but watch it. Jones's feet go right out from up under him, right there as he tried to make the cut, and the pass was right on target. Would have been a simple completion.
No defender around him, not even in the picture.
The defensive back, Taylor, number 24, is substituting for the injured Morris, I guess it is, and he was given plenty of cushion. Plenty of cushion.
2nd down and 10. Going deep. Scott at the 12-yard line. Carlton Scott. Speed everywhere you look outside for Florida State.
Coker's just going to fake and throw the ball up. He's going to throw it as high and as far as he can. Scott runs right under it, looking over his shoulder. He makes good eye contact with that ball. He has one step. The pass had to be perfect for the completion. 86, Carlton Scott. What a great play. Let's watch the pattern that he runs. Only 35 seconds to go. Why would you let a receiver get behind you? 13 majors experience. The safety man, Giddings, was up front. The safety man should be way back, playing center field. He was caught out of position. The pass reception resulted.
And Florida State now knocking on the door with 27 seconds to play in the first half, having taken their 2nd timeout to talk things over and get organized.
Keith, it's amazing that the safety man, Gilliard, is a senior, playing center field. All you have to do is back up and play the ball. He would have been perfect. He would have been in position to make the play very easily, but somehow he took the fake up and got fooled on the play, letting Scott get in behind him.
Coker is now 9 out of 13 for 163 yards, but remember, 2 of those passes were dropped and one receiver wide open fell down. He very well could be 12 out of 13. First down from the 12 of South Carolina. Hooker back. Shoots it to the corner, and it is incomplete. He had Hester over there, but Hester had double coverage. They had kept the tight end in that time to help in the protection, and so he was limited in the number of people he had to choose from.
Hester's going to look inside, break out, but he is double covered, and Keith Mitchell. Brooks, number 23, is right in front of him. Two men right there, perfect. One in front, one behind. You couldn't cover any better. In fact, Coke was lucky to get the ball back. Had he not thrown a low outside short pitch, it would have been intercepted.
Second down and 10. Got backside pressure. The pass is away. Hester gets it and goes out of bounds inside the 5, but there's a penalty flag.
The first time I've seen this year, I think it's offensive blocking by the receiver coming inside. Hester, I believe it is, blocks the man, which frees the inside receiver. Screening, that play has been put in the book as a point of emphasis to try to eliminate the illegal tactic of the wide receiver screening off the inside linebacker.
It's a pick play.
Yes, the pick play. That says it all. That's a loss of down, too, Keith. 15 yards, loss of down. The pick play is something that college coaches have been fighting and trying to get it stopped. Let's watch 88 Jones. He goes inside, and he's going to run and screen right there in front of 13 Majors. He blocks him out of the play, allowing the receiver. 13 is covering the other receiver. He gets screened out of the play by a block. Jones, it's illegal. He has to avoid that. That was a very technical call, though, I would say that, Keith, wouldn't you?
Yep.
Very
well, if they had a parquet floor and short breeches on, it'd be all right.
I don't interpret that.
Well, I'm referring to the, of course, the Boston Celtics.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Basketball. Okay, I've got you.
27-yard line. Third down and long now. They've got to go inside the 2 to get a first down, and the play goes up the middle on the Deere offense as he gave it to the up back, Cletus Jones, the fullback, and Jones couldn't break it, and South Carolina's defenders are just swarming all over the place, with Florida State now spending its final timeout.
They're going for the field goal to try to get just one touchdown behind at halftime, and that will be a morale lifter for the Seminoles. They need to get something on the scoreboard. They scored first, if you joined us later, and then Carolina has come back with 17 straight points. And I would say go back on that pick play. That was very technical. Could have been he was pushed into it by the other defensive man by the Carolina back cover. You don't think he was?
No,
okay.
I don't
It was
think
close
so.
call, though. I'll say that. It's something the referees and officials are looking for very closely this year. At the suggestion and recommendation of the Rules Committee. It's put in the first page of the rule book to watch for that.
Well, football's a lot like life in a lot of ways, Frank, including the caught and the uncaught, right?
Yes. I've seen it. How many times have we seen it uncalled this year? That's the first time that we've seen the pick play call, and this is about the 9th week of the season.
39-yard field goal try now by Derek Schmidt, a freshman out of Sarasota. He missed from 40 earlier. He's got it up. And he missed this one to the right. So Derek has missed from the left and missed from the right. And you got 7 seconds to play in the first half with South Carolina leading 17-7.
I think that Smith overcompensated. You know, like in golf, we hooked the ball one time, and the next one we hit it dead right. Well, that's about what Smith did. He, as Keith had already mentioned, as we look at the top 10 today and what they did.
Washington has gone ahead of USC in their ball game out on the coast. That's a Rose Bowl game, as we told you. Jim Lampley will run down all of what has happened and what is happening. Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, that great defensive team they've got, hanging right in there and highly ranked in the country. I think South Carolina will snap it one time, and no, they're going to put it up. Mike Hole, sitting back in there, has all day long, and he throws it a quarter of a mile. And it's caught by Bill Bradshaw at the Florida State 20, but there's no more time on the clock. Well, he certainly added to his offensive totals with that heave.
He threw it a long way, Keith, about 65 yards.
Now here's Tim Brandt with Coach Joe Morrison.
All right, Joe, I've got to ask you right away. I think everybody thought you were going to sit on the ball. You open it up and try to get the field goal and almost got it.
Well, we had 7 seconds left. We wanted to go in that double slot, too. We couldn't get the ball down the field. We figured the time would have run out if anything happened. But that was a great catch by Bill Bradshaw down there.
All right, let me ask you about the defense now. You lost 3 key players in Morris, Seawright, and McEntee. How do the other kids overcompensate?
Well, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get some of them back here the second half a little bit. But the young ones have been going in there. They've been hustling. They've been making some mistakes, but they've been hustling, and I think that's the difference.
Florida State tried to shift on you, mix it up a little bit, but you adjusted well.
Well, you know, we worked on that, Coach Gadd and his staff, very hard during the course of the week, but we got a big 30 minutes yet to go.
All right, Joe, thank you. Good luck second half. So we'll be back with our halftime activities with our score 17-7 Carolina after this message and a word from your local stations.
The Prudential Halftime Report is being sponsored by Prudential. For life, health, auto, home, get a piece of the rock. Prudential Insurance.
This is one of the most confusing of all college football seasons. Gradually, it seems to be coming into focus. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Top-ranked Washington, inside track to the national championship as a result of what has happened to everybody else. And the Huskies lead Southern Cal 7-6 at halftime on a Jock Robinson touchdown run. Second-ranked Texas fell today after living dangerously for 4 straight weeks. They lost to Houston 29-15. There were 9 Texas turnovers in the game. Third-ranked Nebraska is rolling over Kansas 41-7 in the 4th quarter. Meanwhile, 4th-ranked Brigham Young has beaten San Diego State. The Cougars, of course, headed to the Holiday Bowl. Robbie Bosco, 326 yards and 2 touchdowns in the air today. Maryland, the greatest comeback in NCAA big-time college football history. The Terrapins were down 31-0 at halftime. They are the first team ever to come from down 31 points to win a football game. They did it as a result of Frank Reichs replacing Stan Gelbaugh at quarterback and producing 6 touchdowns in the second half for Maryland. Florida beat Georgia 27-0. The Gators now with the inside track to at least a tie for the Southeastern Conference Championship. The other team in the SEC with no losses and 1 tie is LSU, playing against Alabama and beating Alabama today at Birmingham 16-14. Alabama now with 6 losses. First losing season for the Crimson Tide in 27 years. 9th-ranked Oklahoma leading Colorado 35-10 in the 3rd quarter. 2 Danny Bradley touchdown passes. Flutie became the all-time NCAA passing leader today as BC beat Army 45-31. Flutie 19 of 29 for 311 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has games left against Syracuse, Miami, and Holy Cross to pad his NCAA records in passing and total offense. West Virginia fell to Rutgers 23-19. Biggest win yet for former Penn State assistant Dick Anderson, who's doing a heck of a job for the Scarlet Knights. Syracuse beat Navy 29-0. First time Syracuse with back-to-back winning seasons since the late 60s. Pittsburgh beat Tulane 21-10. Some satisfaction for poor Phage Fozio, who's had a tough year. Clemson 17-10 winner over Virginia Tech. Virginia rolling 45-0 winner over North Carolina State. Cavaliers are going to go to somebody's bowl. Auburn beat Cincinnati 60-0. No 60 points since the days of Sullivan and Beasley. Bo Jackson 3 touchdowns today, but all those pro scouts who want Bo to come out early, take note of this. He's down from 225 pounds to something close to 200. Kentucky, a 27-18 winner over Vanderbilt, and Kentucky is 7-2. Michigan State beat Iowa 17-16. Iowa needed a victory to safeguard their potential path to the Rose Bowl. Play of the day, 48 seconds remaining. Iowa going for 2 points. Chuck Long running on the badly bruised leg. Looked like he got in for a moment, but the official said no. He was stopped short by Michigan State. Would have won the game. Instead, Michigan State beats them, and now Ohio State has the inside track to the Rose Bowl because Ohio State is beating Northwestern 45-3 with only a little bit of time left. Meanwhile, Purdue is losing to Wisconsin 30-13. That game now final. The Badgers having knocked Purdue out of a potential inside track to the Rose Bowl. So if Ohio State beats Michigan at Columbus next week, they will go. There are more scores which we will continue to give you from the remote as the day goes on. One important one, TCU still trying to keep their Cotton Bowl hopes alive, leading Texas Tech 17-16 now in the 4th quarter, and we'll keep you posted on that. Back with Frank Gifford and Joe Morrison right after this. From Fort Worth, Kenneth Davis, the best little-known running back in the country, has just scored on a 79-yard run, his 3rd touchdown of the day, and the Horned Frogs now lead Texas Tech. 7 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, 24-16. Recent visit, Frank Gifford and Joe Morrison in Columbia, South Carolina. Let's take a look. There was an earlier time of glory and distinction for the New York Giants, the Yankee Stadium days of the early 1960s, a time when the glamour of the Giants was personified by number 16, Frank Gifford, and their grittiness was symbolized by his friend number 40, Joe Morrison. Gifford was the multi-purpose halfback, at once the team's most important rusher and receiver, and it was his accomplishments which opened the way for Morrison to slip into a long career of quiet accomplishment. Ultimately, number 40 retired as the team's career pass-catching leader, and then went on to become a college coach at Tennessee Chattanooga, at New Mexico, and now at South Carolina. This week brought a reunion as Frank Gifford traveled to Columbia, South Carolina to talk with Joe Morrison about his coaching philosophy: honest, open, and fair.
Going back to those years, Joe, those 14 years you played with the Giants, sticking around long enough, I might add, to break my receiving record. Any special memories about those years?
Well, I think a couple things. Number one, the great people that were associated with those ball clubs, the great individuals, not only on the football field, but off. And strangely enough, I think I've been associated with maybe 3 or 4 college football teams at Chattanooga, New Mexico, and I think the ball club here this year kind of has that chemistry or that intangible that maybe you can't define. But I know it's a doggone good feeling to walk in the locker room anytime during the week or after a ball game, and you do see a bunch of people that care for one another, and they are together, and it reminds me so much of what we had when we were with the Giants.
Joe, you took over a 4-7 team last year. When you got the players together for the first time, what did you say to them?
We felt that we had some good football players, but their work habits, not only on the football field, but in the academic area, were not what we felt they should be, and we kind of pointed out that we wanted to be successful in the classroom as well as on the football field, and the only way you could really get that done was through hard work.
Quietly but firmly.
Well, we're not a yeller or a shouter or anything like that, but I think our young men listen when we talk to them.
Let's think back to those years, Joe, the late 50s and the early 60s, the winning, the excitement of it all. What are your thoughts?
I think there was a great deal of excitement throughout the city and the state of New York, and it's very similar, I think, to the excitement, the interest, the enthusiasm that's been generated here this year by this ball club. But at that particular time and going through those years, I thought New York was a great place to be, and still do. And you would know, you come into the locker room on a Monday after winning the ball game, and here'd be various products that the companies would send, and it was kind of like Christmas every day when you walked in.
No one is more proud or happier with the success of Joe Morrison than his former Giant teammates. Joe played 14 years with the Giants. There were good years and there were bad years, but Joe only played it one way, and that was 100% at each and every position he ever played. He wasn't fast and he wasn't big, but you'll find his name on almost every page of the Giants record book. What you won't find are the intangibles that made him a great player and now a superb college coach.
Halftime, we'll see them in just a moment. First, let's spend a moment with Frank Broyles and talk about the frustration of Florida State, the success of South Carolina.
South Carolina was able to capitalize on their big plays, which we saw a lot of them in the ball game. Mike Cole was just outstanding, coming in the relief role and making the plays count and getting them in for the touchdown. On the other hand, Florida State has been hurt by penalties, Keith, and I think the game is too early to call. Both teams have the ability to come from behind. They're accustomed to coming from behind in virtually every game this year, so we've got a lot of football left.
They had 2 penalties, one of them the big one down there that took them right out of scoring range, and then they hurt themselves down here with a procedure call. Otherwise, it might be a lot closer.
It should be, if you take the yardage game, close to 300 by both teams. You're talking about 17 points by both teams. That's about be on average with what they've been scoring all year. But when penalties take you on 3rd down right before the half, you just don't have any chance. Both quarterbacks are doing outstanding. I think that the Coker is in relief role, and Hold in the relief position of Mitchell have been able to hit their plays, and Florida State just hadn't been able to capitalize when they get close.
There were 8 plays in that first half of 33 yards or more. Well, let's turn to a man who's a little frustrated himself because, his son, Steve, is sitting on the bench and hasn't had a chance to play, and he's about as big a Florida State fan, I guess, as you'll find. Jack Nicklaus. Jack, you, I believe, feel this South Carolina team may be the best Florida State's seen.
I think so. I've watched most all the Florida State games, Keith, and this is the first game that I've seen a team that looked as solid on defense as they did on offense. And I was at last week's game at Arizona State, and if you want to see an offensive show and talk about teams coming from behind, that was it. So there's a lot of football left here. I think Frank's right.
Incidentally, your alma mater, Ohio State, was a winner today, but Iowa lost.
Well, it looks like Ohio State can beat Michigan. They go to the Rose Bowl then.
It does indeed. I think they're going to have their choice of some bowls because our bowl situation is all screwed up now with so many people losing.
I guess that's right. I guess the only thing we're looking at here and concerned about is seeing Florida State. And, of course, I guess South Carolina people are thinking the same thing.
Well, it'll be quite a day for them. Jack, good to see you. And, of course, everybody, I guess, would like to know about how the knee. I know you had a little arthroscopic surgery, but how is it?
Oh, it's all right. I just had to make up my mind whether to get it done or not get it done, and it seemed the best time to do it, so I did it.
Well, Frank and I were over at Augusta National the other day, and I found a few glitches going up and down those hills myself. Good to see you.
Okay, Keith, thank you.
Okay. Now let's join the South Carolina Marching Band. Everybody remembers from the summer games in Los Angeles. The University of South Carolina Marching Band, an imposing organization to say the least, performing at halftime as their team leads the ball game by a score of 17-7. And James K. Copenhager, the director of the University of South Carolina Band.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by the new Golf. It's not a car, it's a Volkswagen. By U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. By Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's cooked the Colonel's special way, so it's always tender and juicy, bite after bite. Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right. And by Mr. Goodwrench and General Motors Parts, who help you keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts. We'll be back with the Florida State South Carolina second half kickoff after.
From the football, you're killing yourselves, Bobby.
Tim, we are killing ourselves. We've been down to the goal line 4 times and got penalized out of range. It's our fault. It's not anybody else's fault. We will not make big plays. We're supposed to be a big play team, and we're not making big plays. I told our kids at the half, somebody's going to make a doggone play to get us to win this game.
You missed field goals. Now, this is where you were last week. You were down 17 points. Only last week you made those field goals.
Yeah, we've missed. We just hadn't done anything good, and our fault has come not taking advantage of opportunities we've got. I hope we can do better this half.
All right, very quickly, I want to ask you about the quarterback situation. Will Kirk be back in now? Because Coker did suffer about an 1.5 inch gash on his chin.
Yeah, he's going to stay. The other guy thinks he can go, but I'm just afraid he can't throw as good. We've got to see if Kirk can get the ball to somebody, and somebody's got to catch the ball on our side. We're missing a lot of them.
All right, Bobby, good luck the second half. All right, Keith, back up to you. We'll keep an eye on Eric Thomas for you.
All right, thank you, Tim. There are your halftime stats.
Yeah, you can see that they're right on schedule, what they've been gaining, and amazing no turnovers in a ball game like this. Florida State has had the ball 18 minutes to 11, but they have not capitalized. As Coach Bowden said, they've made mistakes. The team that wins the second quarter, which seemed to me to be South Carolina, usually wins the second half. They've got the momentum in their favor right now.
All right, let me very briefly recap for you. South Carolina, 5th ranked, highest ranking they've ever had. They started playing football here in 1892. They have never had an undefeated season. They have never won 9 games in a season. If they win this game today, they're almost sure to get, unless they totally collapse, a major bowl bid for New Year's Day. That pays in excess of $2 million. So, in a sense, it's $1 million ball game for them. And here's the kickoff to start the second half. It will be South Carolina receiving the ball. Raynard Brown. He's up to the 20 and comes to the 24. Bounces outside, and he's still going. He's bound. No flag. It'll go in the books, 99 yards.
Keith, I wonder if Brown had his knee on the ground when he caught the ball. We saw that in another game on a punt. As the punter caught the ball from the center, he caught it with his knee on the ground. It was very close. I don't guess that he did, but it was close. It was a sensational run by Brown. Ran into the pile of folks and defenders, and the Florida State defense players just shut down, and he bounced out and outran the entire team.
The extra point try by Hagler. Good. Well, it's the second time this year we have seen a long run to open and the scoring in the second half. We saw it last week when Penn State came up with a long run but didn't produce the touchdown. Now let's watch the reception and particularly watch the knee.
It's very close. It seems to me when I saw it that the knee could have been on the ground while he has possession of the ball. I've seen that happen on the kickoff many times. If the official had called it, it would have been South Carolina's ball on the 1-yard line. Instead of this great run, you can see the Florida State defense thinks he's down. The pile of people right there, then Brown bounces to the outside and turns on the afterburner right there. No one has a chance, the kicker, least of all, to make the play, and it's a touchdown.
And it's a school record of 99 yards. And it's South Carolina 24, a shocked Florida State 7. It is very important for the Seminoles to respond. Oh, my gosh, they're coming out with it. Carlton Scott comes out of the end zone and gets back up to the 17, 18-yard line. He was about 3 yards deep, but he came out anyway.
From the end zone, let's watch it from the...
He's down.
His knee is on the ground as he catches the ball. It appears conclusively as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was when I saw it right there. The ball, the rule would have been, and the official right there on it, would have been South Carolina's ball on the 2-yard line instead of the touchdown. It's a tremendous run. You got to give Brown credit. He's a backup, halfback, running back. You can see what speed he has. They've been playing all of these backup halfbacks in the ball game. Great play.
So from the 18, Florida State trying to come back now. Goes to the pass immediately, and Coker misses Pat Carter, the tight end, out on the sideline.
Let's go back and see it one more time on the knee. The ball, if it's in possession of Brown and his knee is on the ground,
and it is
right there, then the ball is dead right there. The play is over, blown dead, and South Carolina should have started with the ball right there. And the referee, Smith, is right there behind it. Could have called it.
Couldn't see it, probably, from that angle. Second down and 10, Florida State, and Williams-Brice Stadium is aroused. Coker's pass down the middle. A man falls down. It is intercepted by number 20, Bryant Gilliard. All he had to do was catch it because when Hassan Jones fell down, the ball went right to Gilliard. And South Carolina is in business inside the Florida State 20.
The first turnover of the ball game. Throwing off your own 15-yard line or 16. And, of course, Coker slipped a little bit, and the ball is thrown right where Jones, number 88, would have been. But when he slipped down, it's an easy interception. And I repeat, the first turnover of the ball game.
The ball is on the Florida State 19. First down, South Carolina. They lead 24-7. They've got a great opportunity right here. That's the second time, incidentally, Jones has fallen down. This is Dendy. And Thomas Dendy goes close to the 14. Isaac Williams, defensive tackle, 260 pounds for the 3 men up front. Todd Stroud, 225 nose guard, and Gerald Nichols, 250, Garth Jackson, linebacker, 210. Brian Williams, linebacker, 215. Henry Taylor, 230 pounds, and Fred Jones, 225 pounds. Second down and 6 now for South Carolina. It's Dindy again in traffic, surging down to about the 10 and getting pretty close to a first down. Martin Mayhew is a cornerback for Florida State, 5'8", 165. Eric Williams, the other, at 5'9", 175. Strong safety is Billy Allen, 210, 6'1", and Brian McCrary, 5'11", and 170. And those fellas on the defensive side of the ball for Florida State have got a problem right now.
They really do. They've got to have an all sell-out defense and just try to stop them right here and settle for a field goal.
Third down and about 2. Here goes Dindy, and they get him short of the line of scrimmage, back close to the outside the 11, and it'll bring up fourth down, and probably the kicking game will show up for South Carolina, but so far they have not come on the field. It looks like Joe Morrison may go ahead, and since he's already got one quick touchdown, he may try to get another.
He doesn't appear to be going for the field goal. They're thinking about it right now. Frank Sadler, the offensive coordinator, now they're taking time out.
Well, they had to because the clock was winding on them. And with 12:41 to go in the third quarter now, South Carolina leading 24-7, going to make a decision.
As U.S. Olympic boxing medalists make their pro debut, Breland, Whitaker, Taylor, Holyfield, and Biggs. Thursday night live on ABC.
Congratulations. I don't know whether Joe Morrison's terribly comfortable with this. His best times have been this season coming from behind. All right, it's fourth down and 3. The pass into the end zone is too high, incomplete, and South Carolina comes away empty on the interception.
Well, that was a tough call, and the offensive coaches at South Carolina probably felt like with Florida State able to score 38 points in the average for the season, they need to get all they can get. Of course, if you've got 3, sure, I believe I'd take it.
I think I would at this point, especially against a big play team like Florida State. But so far, and I will not be surprised to see Eric Thomas get behind the bench and start warming up because Coker's not having a good day. Snipes and Smith are lined up in the backfield. From the 12, little quick pop pass is deflected. Number 85, Carl Hill, sticks his hands up and knocks that pass away. Herb Gaynor was available. James Sumter is the defensive end, 215, not very big. Frank Wright, 275. Glenn Woodley, not all that big. He really weighs about 225. Willie McEntee is hurt and out of the ball game. Ricky Daniels is in there now. James Seawright hurt and out of the ball game. Danny Miller's in. Vogel is still playing at 215, and Carl Hill just made that last play defensively. Second down and 10. This is Snipes in traffic. Or can he scoot? And he's got a first down as he comes to the 24.
And a big first down. Florida State needed that desperately to get a little momentum, and you just see what a small opening that these backs have need. Snipes is very quick, 5'9", good speed, but blocking of the offensive line was outstanding. And boy, that Snipes is going north and south, isn't he, Keith?
He sure is.
No east and west for him.
First down. Cletus Jones is back in at fullback now for the Seminoles. 24-7. South Carolina getting a 99-yard touchdown run to start the second half. The pass is as far downfield as possible, and a penalty flag. Pass interference. The 2 defenders got too close to him, and they closed the door on Jesse Hester, and the flag is thrown.
Let me quote the rule. If 2 men are running side by side, and there's no intent to impede the receiver, it is not pass interference. The judgment is intent. Intent.
There's the trip right there.
There's the trip right there. That is not intent, but I still believe it's pass interference. No, they're wiping it off, Keith.
No, they're just coming back for the 15-yard.
I'm last year. 15 yards.
Defensive pass interference and an automatic first down.
I think this is one of the best rules changes they have made.
I agree. I agree. The reason is a freak play.
Chris Major is the left corner for South Carolina, 5'8", 170. Otis Morris is hurt and out of the ball game. Hinton Taylor is playing. Joe Brooks is a strong safety, 180 pounds. Gilliard, 185, the free safety. And here's Coker back. And his pass is thrown downfield. And again, a Florida State defender has fallen down. The pass is picked off by Taylor. And South Carolina comes up with its second interception in a minute.
When the receiver slips down, the pass was perfectly thrown. It has to be thrown before the receiver makes his break. Number 3, Herb Gainer. When he makes his turn back to that.
This is still not warming up. Coker's back. Gets it off. It is deflected and almost intercepted by number 23 for South Carolina, Joe Brooks. Nebraska won today. Last we heard, Oklahoma was winning, and Jim just told you about the Texas-TCU matchup coming up next week here on ABC. CFA football at 3:30 Eastern Time.
Keith, the Nebraska-Oklahoma game in years past has been a real terrific game. Last year, it was one of the most exciting games, and Nebraska was ranked number 1. Oklahoma nearly pulled it off.
Second down and 10 for Florida State. I don't think the clock's running. This is Snipes working up the middle. He fumbles. South Carolina's got it again. You've had 2 pass interceptions and 3 fumbles by, well, 2 fumbles by Florida State. And right now, it looks like the sky has fallen.
When it turns, it really turns. That momentum, you get the excitement on your football team. Your pace picks up. Your tackling improves. You're excited. You recognize what's happening. You get a chance to maybe play for the national championship before the year is over. Your team, and here's Wright again, Keith. I believe Wright's going to strip him the ball. That's 2 in a row. Wright's left arm, it seemed to me, number 9, is stripped Snipes from the ball.
4 turnovers in 4 possessions, and you've played less than 4 minutes. But I don't think the clock has been running. In fact, I know it hasn't.
The game clock, or the game clocks, is not working. I couldn't tell what he was saying, Keith.
The clock has not run since 3:43.
They've got to estimate now.
What was it, in the Georgia-Florida game today? Somebody had found a way to tie into the computer, and they screwed up the game clock at the Gator Bowl and put up, at one time they had a message up 142 to nothing or something like that.
That's a good lesson. We won't go to the computer in Arkansas for our scoreboard. Look at the turnovers this half. 4 and 1. 1 by South Carolina, 4 by Florida State.
Well, we check some scores. Houston beating Texas. That was one of the big stunners today. Nebraska knocked down Kansas handily. Now the Huskers have been rolling along with BYU winning again, 34-3. Another big day for Robbie Bosco. One of the great comebacks in the history of any kind of football. Miami led 31 to nothing at halftime, and Maryland came back to beat them 42-40.
How did Maryland score that many points? And Kozar only had 2 interceptions, you know. You think he might have had more than that.
Florida rolled over Georgia 27 to nothing, and the decision is still to be made on Florida's future. Oklahoma beating Colorado big, and Army made a game of it with Boston College as Flutie is past now Ben Bennett's career passing record, and Flutie's headed for 10,000 yards in that area. There's another stunner today. Rutgers, good football team, no question about it. But remember, West Virginia at one time was highly ranked. Rutgers knocked them off today. They've lost 2 in a row. And Virginia has suddenly become a story, and a lot of bowl scouts probably wish they'd have gone to see Virginia play today. North Carolina, as Dick Clement said earlier, said the first half of the season we don't think we're going to be very good, but the second half will be a lot better, and that seems to be the case. And Wake Forest came from behind to beat Duke today by 4. I'll tell you one thing. I'll bet you the highest price ticket in the history of the state of Carolina is going to be the ticket to the Clemson, South Carolina game.
Won't that be something?
Clemson's on probation, though, and nobody can show you the game. This is Ira Hillary on a reverse. And he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage and their penalty flag.
Many times on a reverse, someone gets over anxious. He's at a disadvantage on a reverse play, and he ends up clipping when he should just let the defensive man make the play rather than waste 15 yards. Costly.
What it is. Right now, all these bowl folks that have been traveling around the country, I don't think they have much of an idea what's going to happen to them. And Michigan State beat Iowa.
Against South Carolina, first down.
Put Ohio State right back into the Rose Bowl race, too. But Ohio State's got to play Michigan next.
There's been some real upsets this year in the Big Ten.
Wisconsin's turned out to be a pesky bunch, too, and the Razorbacks get by Baylor 14-9.
That was a big win for Ken Hatfield. Baylor's tough in Waco.
It's first down and long, and Florida State's defensive people surging to the ball now with a goodly amount of enthusiasm. The ball, was it loose?
Yes,
Florida State's claiming it, and
yeah.
It's another fumble. So we've had 5 fumbles. Well, we've had three changes of possessions on fumbles here in this third quarter. Quentin Lewis, the ball got loose from him. That's a second fumble by Lewis. Henry Taylor covered it for the Seminoles. And so with the clock showing 11 minutes to go, it's 31-7 South Carolina.
Ball, an all-time classic rivalry as powerful Nebraska meets the Oklahoma Sooners, or the Texas Longhorns tackle surprising TCU. Live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
We've had 6 turnovers, 4 by Florida State and 2 by South Carolina here in the third quarter. Scoreboard clock shows 11 minutes to go, but I don't think that's right. It's been 8 minutes and 40 seconds, we're now told, remain to play in the quarter. So forget the clock on the scoreboard. Eric Thomas has come into the ball game for Florida State. He has a sore leg, but right now the situation for the Seminoles is desperate. Thomas, the most efficient quarterback in the country. And they didn't want to play him today, but he's in.
There are his numbers for the season.
Greg Allen's also back in. And Thomas back. Gets his pass off to the sidelines, and again, a Florida State receiver, Calvin Scott, falls down. Now, I told you earlier, they play on real grass here. It's a very hard field, and it's very fast field. You are allowed 2-inch cleats on your shoe. You're allowed half-inch cleats on your shoes versus what in Frank's day they used the 3/4 inch,
That's
where
correct.
you could really take a bite out of it. But they've done away with that, and they're down to half-inch cleats, and they just simply don't seem to hold today for Florida State because they're making their cuts so sharp, and they're losing their footing, and it's resulted in 2 interceptions. Thomas goes down the middle to Hester, and Hester's got a first down and then some, down to the South Carolina 26.
The Florida State passing attack is based off of play-action fakes, and they're trying desperately to get these receivers in behind the linebackers and not slip down. Hester didn't make that turn, Keith. Did you know he kind of cautioned and very sensitively walked through in there and made the reception gingerly.
Have to round off the cuts just a little bit. Pitch out to Greg Allen. Doesn't get much help.
That doesn't look like Greg Allen.
No. He's sore-legged, there's no question about it, but I guess they've got to rest Roosevelt Snipes a little bit. Let's join Tim Brandt for a moment.
Keith, I was talking to some of the players about the slippage that you and Frank were just mentioning. Now, Florida State practice on the field exactly like this. As a matter of fact, they have 3 with Bermuda grass just like this. They all have their 2-inch cleats on, although Allen started the game with his AstroTurf shoes, which are a little bit shorter because of his sore knee. But he changed. Now, everybody has the longer cleats on, but it's soft turf. It's just given away underneath.
Second down and about 8. Thomas gets his pass off. It is caught by Snipes, who has come back into the ball game, replacing Greg Allen. And he gets about 2 or 3 yards on the play before. And Thomas had to get rid of the ball because Sumter was all over it.
The Florida State offense, as we look at Sipes number 20, the passing game is not designed to come from behind. It's play-action pass, Keith, and that's going to be a great pro game Monday night.
Chuck Knox and the Seattle Seahawks. And the Raiders are going to be a little grumpy after what's happened to them over the last couple of weeks. Should be a great ball game. Third down and short 7, another fumble. This one is going to result in a long loss as the South Carolina Fire Ants were swarming all over Carlton Scott. Rick Rabune was back there to get him all the way back at the 40.
Well, Florida State needed something big to happen. Reverse has been a major part of their offense, making the big plays for them. This time, it didn't work. They fumbled it, and they've got to put the ball away. When it rains, it pours in football. Your momentum. Why does it happen, Keith? As a coach, you just say, well, you get that old feeling, and players get the same
Going to try a field goal, Frank. Derek Smith's going to try a field goal. He's going to hit it at the 46, so it'll be a 56-yard field goal try. But I wonder. I sort of wonder. I think Joe Morrison's wondering about it, too.
He'll put his defense in the ball game and not his kick blocking team, in my job. Just put your regular defense
That's exactly
out there.
right. They've called a timeout because he doesn't believe Florida State's going to try a 56-yard field goal. We've got a timeout.
AFC West playoff hopefuls go at it when the 7-3 Raiders take on the 8-2 Seahawks. Live at 9 Eastern on ABC.
South Carolina leading 31-7 here in the third quarter. Florida State's lining up for a 56-yard field goal try. Kirk Coker is the holder, but South Carolina has put its defensive unit into the ball game, not its kick return team. The longest by Schmidt, 54 yards, and he kicks it. And it's not going to get there. It was off to the right. Had it been down the heart, I'm not sure it would have been long enough. It might have been.
Been very close, Keith. I don't believe it would have, unless it just dropped over as it was falling, because it didn't have much more distance left.
Maybe Bobby just said, well, let's send him out there and let him kick, do something. I need a minute to think. I don't know, maybe it's time for us to run for a tunnel, get under some concrete.
Well, South Carolina gets the ball back as we look at USC coming ahead of #1 Washington. But South Carolina gets the ball back at the 39-yard line.
I'll tell you one thing, in that ball game, USC-Washington, if Ted Tollner wins it, it'll get a lot of heat on, a lot of weight off his back. Shut up a lot of people.
What was he, 4-7 last year? I believe that's right.
First down, the ball at the 40. And the pitch to the outside to Raynard Brown, and Brown showing the speed again is brought down after a substantial gain and a first down. Again, Jim.
Let's quickly get up to date on what is happening in the Big 8, where today Nebraska has already beaten Kansas. Oklahoma has also won. Oklahoma State, still in the top 10, will be playing later against Missouri. Now, next week's Nebraska-Oklahoma game will be seen by most of you across the country here on ABC Sports. If Nebraska wins it, Nebraska will be representing the Big 8 in the Orange Bowl. If Oklahoma wins it, there is a potential for the season to end up in a tie, and the Oklahoma-Oklahoma State game will become pivotal. But if Nebraska wins, they go to the Orange Bowl. Back to you, Keith.
And up the middle goes Anthony Smith, all the way down to the Florida State 18-yard line.
When you think defense thinks you're going wide, run it right up the middle. A great block by the offensive center. Garner, he turns the nose man Stroud to the side, and then McCrary, 43, made much effort to make the tackle. Great run by Smith.
Ball is just short of the 17, where it's a first down for the Gamecocks. Boy, they're just blowing Florida State away right now. Quarterback keeps it. And Mitchell, Alan Mitchell, takes it down to about the 13.
We said earlier that teams had the potential to score from anywhere on the field. South Carolina's defense has been the difference in the ball game. They have just been outstanding in the second half, really beginning in parts of the second quarter. As we look at the Florida State defense, which has been out there most of this quarter.
Second down and 6. It'll be second down and about 5 now, maybe 4.5, as Nichols brought Brown down. Washington has fallen behind USC, as noted a moment ago. So number 1 is losing, number 2 has lost. So has number 6 and number 8 and number 10.
Let's speculate, Keith. If Washington should lose, would Nebraska be number 1, having lost the game, or would BYU undefeated and also South Carolina undefeated be number 1?
Nebraska. Here goes Brown. And he's down to about, he's got a first down. and he's very close to the 5. I just have the feeling that because of the preeminent position Nebraska's held for so many years that they're going to get more votes.
Well, Keith, that may be true, but when South Carolina wins so convincingly over a Florida State team that beat Miami, what, 38-3 or something like that? 6-1-1, 10th ranked coming into this ball game. If they win 40 points, watch out. They could jump ahead of some folks. It's happened before.
They could. Here goes Smith into the middle on first down and goal from the 6. And he's got 1.5 yards, maybe 2. South Carolina now with Navy remaining on the 17th of November. And then the annual Donnybrook with Clemson on the 24th.
Keith, the Bowls will probably, of course, South Carolina will be in the driver's seat for the Bowls since Brigham Young has to go to the Holiday Bowl, their champion. That would leave, as an independent, South Carolina the option to go to virtually any of the major bowls. Miami got beat today. Yep. They were the likely choice in the...
Mitchell throws, touchdown! Danny Smith. I've never seen a third quarter like this. I bet you Bobby Bowden hasn't either.
It's been unbelievable. The change, however great, has gone for South Carolina. They've caused most of them, Florida State, making the mistakes, giving South Carolina a chance, and they capitalized on all of them, but one when they ran or threw the ball on 4th and 2 from about the 10-yard line.
Hegler's extra point. Good.
I agree with you. I've never seen a third quarter so one-sided when the first half was virtually even in yardage and play. There's Danny Smith, a freshman tight end. Fake in the line. Quarterback came up for the option play. Watch it. Number 8, the quarterback is going to come. Riley, he's going to commit himself on the goal line. Whoops, what have we got here? Smith, wide open. Look how wide open he is. Keith, I could have caught it.
I'm sitting here thinking about the concession rights to the party.
These South Carolina people, I had a friend of mine from South Carolina said, Frank, we've got the greatest fans in the world. We sell out every ball game if we can only win. Well, boy, they put on a show tonight. They've never won 9 football games in a season in the history of the school. Those of you joined us lately, this will be the first time in the history of this school in one season, regular season, they've won 9 games.
The kickoff is a high hanger, and it's taken by Scott. Carlton Scott cuts to the sideline, slides down, and he's down at the 17-yard line. Again, Jim.
Keith, great story in the Breeders' Cup horse racing event. The key race was the 7th race. A horse named Wild Again was a supplemental entry. Cost to his stable $360,000 to get him into the race as a 30-to-1 shot, and he won. Beat Slew of Gold in a race in which he paid $64.60 to win, and once again, $360,000 supplemental entry cost, and he wins the race. Back to you, Keith.
Wow.
How much money?
I don't want to think about it.
What was it, million? Is that what the winner was?
Here comes Roosevelt Snipes. And Snipes jumps over the stack and jumps right into a whack.
Danny Miller playing for the injured Seawright, James Seawright, who was a leading tackler, came all the way from the left, Keith. Plenty of time to get over on the slow developing play and really stuck his head here on the ball carrier Snipes.
Snipes now with 13 carries and 115 yards. Greg Allen, sore knee, just simply doesn't have the quickness to be out there today. Here comes Snipes again. He wiggles his way between 2 defenders and gets a first down for Florida State up around the 30. 38-7, an explosion by South Carolina in the 3rd quarter. And coming up next Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the Olympians turn pro. All of those people there have gold medals with the exception of Evander Holyfield, and he should have had. So they make their pro debuts on Thursday night, and you'll see it here on ABC. First down, Eric Thomas in at quarterback, playing with a sore leg. Goes deep. Hassan Jones is out there and cannot pull it down, and he's howling for interference and doesn't get the call.
I think it was a good defensive play by the secondary. They expected a deep pass. This is something that Florida State has done very effectively all year long. I think it's an outstanding play by Majors, number 13. He's playing man for man, just going right back with him, step for step, watching the ball. All he has to do is jump. He's not interfering with the receiver there. He goes up. Ball falls incomplete.
I can't tell you exactly how much time remains in the third quarter because the clock's been askew. Thomas goes to the air. Sideline pattern. Hester good. And a first down at the South Carolina 48.
This is the same pattern that Hester slipped down on. Let's see if he makes those corners moving his feet fast or he does it gingerly. Well, he does. He doesn't slip this time. He makes a good turn. The ball is right on the money. Thomas is right there with it. Plenty of time to have possession, put his foot in bounds. Obviously, South Carolina's playing deep, Chief. They don't want to give the bomb. They've got a long way to go. And of course, remember, Maryland scored, 42 points in the second half to beat Miami, trailing 31-0 at half, so anything's possible today.
48-yard line, Thomas drops. Gets it off short, incomplete. Jones could not come up with it. Boy, Hassan Jones has had a miserable day.
He slipped down 3 or 4 times, been critical interceptions resulting. He's discouraged, dejected. You can see the look. He's not coming back from that huddle with much enthusiasm. Touchdown would pick things up for Florida State.
They've got the wave going.
They're not going to stop either. Don't blame them.
Second down and 10. Thomas gets it off. Sideline pattern. That ought to be interference because the defensive man ran right up his back. It's got to be. That was Jones. Jones had slipped again, and Chris Major ran right up his back.
Here it is again. Let's see if we can tell the interference call. As Keith said, Majors covered him deep. Now, the emphasis on pass defense is reaction after the ball is thrown. Majors, if he hits him before the ball gets there.
Oh, he did.
Good call.
He didn't slip. No. He just was trying to go low and get it.
15-yard penalty. The contact before the ball got to the receiver.
Against the defense, first down.
If the clock is right, and we're told that it is, it's 4 minutes and 1 second to go in what may be the longest third quarter in the history of the game. So many turnovers. So much scoring. From the 33, Thomas options outside to Snipes. He cuts it and turns it upfield. Oh, he's an impressive running back.
He's got great vision. Great vision.
Again, here's Jim Lampley.
Here's what happened in the showdown in the Ivy League. Penn beat Harvard in the game between the league's 2 unbeaten teams, 38-7. Penn, which tied for the Ivy League championship last year, can now clinch an outright title this year with a victory over Cornell next week. And Frank Boyles, the answer to your question about that horse race, $3 million, about the cost of a good small practice facility with an all-weather field. Back to you.
How about a new stadium?
he just fell off his stool, Jim. They've brought the chains all the way across to measure for the first down, and looks like they're just short.
$3 million for the winning horse. That would help our budget.
Yeah, but how about those guys that had tickets? Huh?
Yeah. Wow. 60-1 was that
good day for the IRS.
What do you pay? 64-1.
Yeah. 23-yard line, just short of a first down. So it's second down and inches for Florida State. They're down on the South Carolina side, knocking again. They were down there in that first half, and 3 times they were turned away and mistake themselves out of 2 of those opportunities. There's your first down. As up the middle goes Cletus Jones, and Cletus almost popped it for the touchdown as he got to the 16.
I know that Florida State wants to make yardage in big chunks, but because of the clock and the score, but they have to run some in the middle if they're going to do anything else, running wide or throwing the ball. Which the 3rd and short was a good call.
Hester and Jones now are the 2 wide men at the top of the picture. looks over there. Goes that way for Hester. Pass was high.
Well, we saw that last statistic where Snipes had gained most of the yardage. Greg Allen, the starter and probably the best back in Florida State history, has only played sparingly, maybe 2 or 3 plays. 4 times for 8 yards is all that Allen has made. He's been averaging 130 a game. But Snipes is a good football player, good speed. Shown it here tonight. Got great vision, Keith. See where he's going.
He's a junior. He's back next year. 2nd and 10. Little pop over the middle, and Thomas threw it too high, intended for Pat Carter, the tight end.
Carter was open.
Yep.
Would have had a completion inside the 5. A little jump pass. Here's very interesting statistic. When the games that Allen has rushed for over 100 yards, the Seminoles are 14-2, and look what happens when he's less than 100 yards, just over 500, 14-12. Allen has 8 yards today.
Hurt. 3rd down and 10. Eric Thomas gets it off, throws it in the end zone, caught, touchdown. Whoa, what a great catch by Jesse Hester.
The defensive back, Chris Major, is going to be mad at himself because he jumped too quick, or he didn't jump high enough anyway. Hester was able to go up and pull it down. The ball went right over Major's head, who's the cornerback. Great play by quarterback Thomas.
So the Fire Ants are burned for a touchdown. Boy, I'll tell you, they have hung in there and played some defense against Florida State, forcing mistakes and turnovers. With 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, it's 38-13, and Florida State's going for 2.
Well, if they can score 3 times, that's the equivalent of a touchdown. If they go for 2 and make it every time. To Major, the cornerback, really has played an outstanding game. And Thomas thought the blitz was on. The South Carolina dropped back. Thomas throws the ball high. Up goes Major. He wasn't tall enough. That's all it was. Yep. The ball was above him. Let's watch it from the end zone and see again the play by Thomas. Here it is. He thought the blitz was on. It wasn't. Now he rolls to the right. Sees Hester in behind. Major 13's covered him. Chris Major jumps the ball, and he jumped too soon, maybe. I'm not sure, but great catch.
I don't think he was tall enough.
No, he wasn't tall enough. The ball was over his head. Even if he had jumped too soon, I believe. That's the way it appears. Hester just get on the back of the end zone. Well, he did jump a little bit early, too. A combination of it.
And then Hester, the 2-point play was even more spectacular
than the
touchdown.
A great effort on the quarterback. Thomas has made 2 outstanding plays. Here's the end of the 2-point play. You can see the left of your screen. Hester has the ball. He comes down. Oh, my, 1 inch it looks like inside. I give him the benefit of the doubt. I couldn't really tell.
Hester now 6 catches, 128 yards and a touchdown. It's a 38-15 ball game now. As Florida State goes 83 yards, and he got 10 minutes to play, and I can't believe that clock's right.
The 3rd quarter's been playing. We've been playing an hour.
This is Kevin White. And White comes up short of the 20, up to about the 17-yard line. Now, Jim.
All right, 2 quick scores in the Southwest Conference. Baylor held a 10th-year reunion of the 1974 team that went to the Cotton Bowl, the Miracle on the Brazos, but today the Bears lost to Arkansas 14-9. SMU beat Rice 31-17. Dupart over 100 yards, and they held Rice to 11 yards in rushing. And Keith, that TCU-Texas game next weekend in Fort Worth will be, according to what I'm told by the TCU people, their first on-campus sellout since World War II.
I can believe that. Yep. It's first down, South Carolina at the 17 with Alan Mitchell in there at quarterback. And he's poked behind the line of scrimmage, and you got a penalty flag.
Could have been a face mask. Anytime the ball carrier spins around like that. No, it wasn't. It's against holding, I guess. Yep.
Well, look at here. Is this thing going to turn around again?
Read that Dave Burson just gave us. 13 different possessions. That's unbelievable. usually a game that... Let's put those possessions in perspective. Keith, in a ball game, you have 11 possessions. You'll average in a season 11 possessions, or 22 different, I guess, if you multiply them. So this would be the equivalent of 24 if you could do that. And the longest game in the history.
I question whether or not the clock's action.
Well, let's just tell the fans one more time. Miami was leading 13-0 at half.
31 to
31-0 at half.
We have Holden against South Carolina, half the distance, first down.
The third quarter has lasted in actual time 50 minutes. Well, we had 6 to 7 turnovers.
Well, it's been fun.
Well, the game's not over. I'm not going anywhere.
The ball comes back half the distance and is placed on the 8-yard line, where it is now. Clock is running, showing 2:40. And it's first down and 20. Mitchell has given the ball inside to Anthony Smith. And Smith comes up to about the 13. Got about 5 yards on that carry. They've got to come up to their 27 for the first down.
Keith, let's think about the coach. What do you tell your football team in this situation? You cannot get too conservative, because once you get too conservative, things start going against you, and first thing you know is begin to lose. But you don't want to take unnecessary chances. You want to tell your backs, hold on the ball, protect that football in traffic. You throw the ball, throw it short, or throw it deep like a punt, way deep.
Here, penalty flags, and they've stopped it. It was not the clock. They had 4 or 5 seconds remaining on the 25-second clock, so that wasn't the problem.
If Florida State can hold on this possession, they'll get the ball in good field position. I think that, yeah, the flag shows a strong wind into the teeth of the kicker for South Carolina, and Florida State would start with the ball about the 45 or 50-yard line, or better.
That's a procedure call against the Gamecocks.
There's a dead ball, illegal procedure against the offense. Second down.
Don't get too careful, South Carolina. It's easy to do and easy to say not to. It takes a lot of good team, good players. Mitchell's been a starter for 18 ball games. 8 last year, 17 games.
That's Anthony Smith slashing over the left side out to about the 13. It'll be third down and quite long, about 16.
Florida State is just playing their base defense. They don't have to gamble. In comes their nickel defensive players, the extra back end and another rusher.
Joe Wessel, who's making a career out of blocking punts, is in the ball game. Number 5 is a nickelback. South Carolina's 2 out of 8 on third down conversions. Mitchell is back. Has a lot of time. Gets it off. And he's got a man upfield. It is incomplete. He was beyond the field of play. Bill Bradshaw, who has made 2 great catches in this game. And that one he just simply didn't have enough room to run it down. So in comes O'Connor, the punter. He's had a 50-yarder and a 54-yarder, but he's got to kick this one into the wind.
The ball is thrown a little bit long. Don't believe if he'd have held the ball would have been complete. I think Bradshaw was looking to see if he was in bounds.
Pressure on, he gets it out. And up comes Holloman. And he's got it inside the 40, comes down to the 36, and there Florida State will go to work on the South Carolina side of the field.
And Florida State had 3 scoring opportunities, as we mentioned earlier in the second quarter, didn't cash in on any of them. We saw Boston College come from behind with a score of 31-14 and win against Alabama early in the season. With passing attack, with good passing, good receivers, anything can happen.
That was a 29-yard punt by O'Connor. From the 36 on first down, Thomas is back off of play action. To the sidelines to Hester, and it's too high. Bad pass by Thomas, and Eric knew it. He slapped his hands together. He just threw the ball too high.
South Carolina defense.
Look at this. USC now 9 points over Washington.
Yeah. And Washington was number 1, and USC has lost 1 game to LSU.
Number 2's already lost today. But LaVelle Edwards, folks, just keep on moving. But there's one of the great stories in football history.
42 points in the second half by Maryland.
On second down and 10. Thomas getting the pressure, gets it off down the middle. Jones has got it. First down at the South Carolina 15.
This was the first time that South Carolina has used a sellout blitz, meaning that everybody's coming, the corners, the safety's coming, man-to-man coverage. If you get the pass off, as you see right there, I couldn't see the defensive back, Jones. See how wide open the receiver is, and it's a completion.
Mark it on the 16 of South Carolina. First down for the Seminoles with 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Thomas throws it short. In front of Jesse Hester. Hester had slipped out wide, trying to get him one-on-one against the defender, and Thomas missed the pass. That stops the clock with 19 seconds to play in our third quarter that's right now about 55 minutes long. Second down 10. Thomas's pass, incomplete. I think it was Hester.
See all the South Carolina defensive players come to the ball. The linemen even have to run that 20 yards, and then they come back to the line of scrimmage. And that's what, third and 10 keeps, and tough call.
Eric Thomas' leg may be bothering. He had a hip pointer, actually. I mean, really a bat. LSU just squeaked by Alabama today. Third down from the South Carolina 16. Third and 10. Thomas gets it off in the end zone, intercepted. Tried to force it, he threw it right to Bryant Gilliard. And Gilliard is brought down around the 2.
Thomas wanted to throw to the tight end over the middle. South Carolina had covered the tight end, Carter. Now he's scrambling for his life, and he throws the ball into the hands of Gilliard right there. Now, Gilliard could have stayed in the end zone and gotten the ball out to the 20. Would not have been a safety. It would have been a touchback. His ball on the 20-yard line. Now they start with it on the 2, South Carolina.
And 1 second to go in the third quarter.
I'd like to know how many plays, how many snaps there were in this third quarter. I would say it's a record.
There's been 5 turnovers by Florida State. 3 interceptions, and every one of them thrown right into the hands of a defender, and there have been 2 fumbles. Plus 2 fumbles by South Carolina, so 7 turnovers in that third quarter.
This third quarter. It ain't over.
Mitchell, the quarterback, keeping. Fumbles the football. Florida State's got it. That is 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers in the third quarter. One of the longest quarters I have ever seen. And so with 15 minutes.
Turnovers, obviously in this quarter. Believe it or not, there were 8 turnovers. Halftime, error-free ball game.
This is Roosevelt Snipes carrying for Florida State as they go to work at the 13-yard line of South Carolina on first down. And Snipes is down to the 9 for 4 yards. There were 8 turnovers in the third quarter. A 99-yard touchdown run by USC's Brown after putting his knee down, accepting the ball.
And you look at Bobby Bowden and his assistant flashing the signals in. Last time that Florida State was here, they tried to pass and couldn't get it in.
Second down, 7. Call it as they marked him just over the 10. Eric Thomas down the line, pitches to Snipes. He's caught out there and down at the line of scrimmage. Bryant Gilliard, the free safety, and Carl Hill, the outside linebacker on that side, make the play.
When you defend the option right here, speed is a big factor. You can see why this South Carolina team has been so effective defense. Look at the people out there. The free safety Hilliard right up, making the play along with, 5, 6, 7. That's great defense. They'll take that picture still shot and put it in their dormitory.
They
How to
lost
play
some
defense.
on that play. Still third down and a long 7 now. Thomas turns around. He's got a man in the end zone, and he can't hold on to the ball. Number 88, Hassan Jones, had the ball in his hands. It was a bullet because the ball had to be threaded, and he couldn't hold it.
I don't believe they'll go for 3 points. I think they'll go ahead and try to get the touchdown. No, they're going for 3 points. I'm wrong. Here's the play. Jones is going to leap. The pass is thrown right between the defenders. Got a little bump there from Gilliard, number 20. The ball is right on target.
He's just having a bad day.
He is. Here's the field goal. Schmidt has missed 2.
Derek Schmidt. Missed from 40, wide left, 39, wide right, 56, wide right. This is 26. And he's got it. So with 13 minutes and 30 seconds to play, and the clock just jumped from 13:34 to 13:30. So I still think it's screwed up. It's South Carolina 38, Florida State 13:30 showing on the clock. That has been sort of a troublesome critter in the second half. It's kind of funny to see 13:34, see it jump 4 seconds at a time. Marco onside kick.
He's got it.
Oh, Florida State's got it. Florida State gets it. It took a hop right over the head of the South Carolina man, and Billy Allen jumps up and comes down with it. Watch that ball take a jump right over the head of the South Carolina player.
Keith, you practice this. The second time it hit, the ball would most often jump up in the air over the receiving team, and it's perfect. You couldn't throw it up any better. And Billy Allen, number 31, was right there to catch the ball.
Well, that's the 9th turnover in the second half. And the football is just inside the South Carolina 47.
Keith, there were 55 plays in the third quarter. 31 by FSU, 23 by South Carolina.
Crowd now rising to the occasion. They're into the ball game, 75,000 of them. Eric Thomas pumps it, throws it, and it's going to be picked off. It's in the hands of Chris Major, and Major comes back up to the 43-yard line. Eric Thomas threw a wounded goose downfield. There was nothing on the ball. He was trying to get it to Jesse Hester, and it looks to me like there might be something sore about the delivery position of Thomas because he's been too much off the mark.
He throws the ball way inside. The paddle was called over on the boundary. He first looks to the left. Now he goes back to the right. Let's see if Keith is right. Well, he may have gotten hit. That's what happened. He got hit from behind, Keith, and it was a wounded duck coming across there.
Mike Holt is in now at quarterback for South Carolina. Gives the ball to Thomas Dindy. And Dindy, who has not seen the ball in the second half, I don't think, suddenly slashes over the right side and gets 5 yards.
In this half, there have been 10 turnovers in less than, 16, 17 minutes of play. 6 by Florida State, 4 by South Carolina, and that was tough for Florida State on first down to get the ball intercepted.
Ball is at the 48, second down and 5 for South Carolina. Gamecocks 8-0, trying to win 9 for the first time in the school's history. Raynard Brown into the middle. Brown, something of a story in the second half, accepting the kickoff, had his knee down, his right knee firmly on the ground, but got up, bounced away, went 99 yards for a touchdown. There's Kurt Coker. Looks like he'll be summoned back into the ball game. He's warming up. I still think the sore leg of Eric Thomas is a problem for him. Can't plant.
Plus, the quarterback that doesn't practice all week is not going to be as effective in the ball game as he ordinarily would. Thomas did not practice.
This is Hold keeping the ball, and Mike Hold is decked at the 50. He got a yard on the play, so they'll be looking at about 2.5 yards, and 4th down coming up. So they're going to punt it away. Well, the Los Angeles Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks are 2 teams that have faced all kinds of circumstances. It's been adversity of late for the Raiders and back-to-back shutouts by the Seattle Seahawks defense. So that's coming up here on ABC Monday night at 9 Eastern Time.
The Seahawks have a great safety man in Ken Easley, who we saw play at UCLA many, many years. All-American, 3 of those
O'Connor
years.
in to punt it high. Very short. But it does take a South Carolina bounce and kicks on out of bounds at the 22. With 11 minutes and 12 seconds to play in the football game and a 20-point lead for the Gamecocks.
Or the Texas Longhorns tackle surprising TCU. Live at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Florida State just short of their own 22 as Kurt Coker comes back in at quarterback for the Seminoles. Eric Thomas produced a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Coker hands the ball off. Roosevelt snipes. Goes for a first down out to the 37.
He's got good body lead. Breaks through that line. Defensive player's got a piece of him but couldn't hold it. Watch his body lead. Number 20. Roosevelt snipes. He comes right through there. Watch him lower right through that little crack. Now a little fake on Gilliard, the safety man.
And the Seminoles are up near the 37 with a first down. And Coker back to throw. He's got a man down the middle. Pass is good. Gaynor. And Herb Gaynor has a first down at the South Carolina 43.
Florida State ran on the first play of this series and made a nice gain. They brought the linebackers up. Then he called the same fake off the play. Gaynor, number 3, gets in behind the linebackers. The linebackers do not dare drop or risk dropping that deep. Safety men are playing deep for the bomb. There's a natural opening in that area.
10.5 minutes to play in the game. Little play action. Quarterback keeps it upfield. He goes to the 37. Inside there, close to the 36 with 10:15 to play. Here's Jim.
Heisman Trophy ballots went out this week. With an eye toward that, let's take a look back at what Boston College did today, the 45-31 win over Army. Doug Flutie, 19 of 29, over 300 yards, and he became the NCAA's all-time career passing leader, passing Ben Bennett in that category. Back to you, Keith.
On 2nd down and 4 now, as Coker picked up 6 on the run. Passes away, downfield, Gaynor! It may be intercepted, it is. Brad Gilliard comes up with the interception. And we've had 11 turnovers in the second half. Tried to bite off too much, maybe, huh?
He sure did. Look at this. Out of 19 possessions, there have been 11 turnovers in this half. Not in the ball game, in this half. The jaded number 20 playing center field. Center fielders, schools are just back up. Play center field. Back up there and be there. The ball is thrown high. Look at Gaynor go up. Pulls it down. Gaynor tries to strip it from him, but he can't do it.
And from the 20, a first down for South Carolina and a whistle.
Tight end move, Keith.
Mike Hold is the quarterback for the Gamecocks.
That's quite a story, Mike Hold. Came here from junior college, redshirted a year. Moved in as a relief pitcher, you might say, and has made some outstanding plays. Brought the team from behind 3 times.
Got a heck of an arm.
Got a rifle for an arm. Now, if the defense did not make contact, I don't know how you call that. I didn't see him make contact. I saw the tight end move.
We're both sides against the defense. First down.
Florida State coaches were screaming about it. But whatever, it's first down and 5 for the Gamecocks now up on the 25. And this is Dindy. Oh, he's outside. And he's got a first down for South Carolina. And you're going to get a call on a late hit on the sideline. I think Brad McCreary hit him out of bounds.
Quentin Lewis, look at the top of your screen. You'll see Lewis, number 9. The backs in the rear have to block. Watch him take. He just wraps up number 15.
3 of them.
Smiley, the cornerback. Beautiful block by Lewis, freeing Dindy into the secondary.
Personal foul call on Florida State's going to move it on upfield.
Dead ball, hitting out of bounds, personal foul against the defense.
The ball is at midfield now. First down for South Carolina.
Let's go, 55.
Mike Holt keeps the ball, caught, slapped down for a yard loss at the 49. Final score, the Southern California Trojans have defeated the Washington Huskies 16-7. And all the Bull Scouts who are here in Columbia, South Carolina are now on the phone trying to get a hold of Don James and company. Here in Columbia, South Carolina, for those of you who have not had enough football and have come over to join us for the finish of this one, the South Carolina Gamecocks 38-18 over Florida State. And in the second half alone, we have had 11 turnovers. Third quarter took an hour to play. Mike Holt, quarterback for the Gamecocks, keeps it and bangs his way upfield. He'll have about 3.5 yards to pick up on the next snap in order to keep possession of it.
The option play in college football puts so much pressure on the defense. It's virtually impossible to blitz the option play, the triple option in particular, because the running back or the quarterback could run out the gate for a touchdown. You have to be careful. You have to limit your defenses when the other team runs, the opponents run the triple option.
Third down and 4, and teams 1 and 2 have both lost today. And the left tackle, Carl Womble, left too soon, and that'll cost them 5 yards. I would think they'll accept it. Here's the rundown. Washington losing to USC. Texas lost to Houston. And Miami was defeated by Maryland, and I don't have the foggiest idea who's going to be the #1 team. Right now, with a 20-point lead over Florida State, South Carolina might be as good a choice as anybody. Of course, BYU is also undefeated, and Nebraska is always up there in the rankings. And next week, we've got that annual Donnybrook between Oklahoma and Nebraska out in Lincoln for you. Plus, Texas playing TCU. And the Horned Frogs won again today. It is now third down and 9. Holt drops. He's got a man wide open down the middle, but chooses to go deep for the pass, and it's overthrown, intended for Eric Poole. He had his tight end, Corley, wide open.
Keith, you called it correctly. Called as though they're waving. Give me the ball. He's so wide open.
Shoot, there wasn't anybody within 15 yards of him.
He was crossing over in front of the cornerback, and the cornerback was going deep for the wide receiver. Left no one in that area to cover it. Holt was going for the downs.
And so the Gamecocks will give it up with Holloman going back to stand near the 10 for Florida State. And O'Connor averaging just over 40 today. He's had 2 pretty poor kicks, but this is a little better. And no fair catch. And a penalty flag. Oh, look at here.
The penalty is that you have to give the safety man 2 yards once the flight of the ball is downward. And they did not give him 2 yards to catch the ball.
So the penalty will go against South Carolina, and instead of being pinned back on its 16-yard line, Florida State, if they call it a personal foul, is going to be out at the 31.
Catch interference against the kicking team.
Catch interference is called. You can see the red shirts are not, they are closer than 2 yards to the safety man. That is illegal.
And it's a 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty. Not many fans understand that rule. It's only been in effect 2 years. This is the second year of that rule.
We kicked off at 3:50. We've been playing 3 hours and 10 minutes roughly. 8 minutes. First down, out on the 21. South Carolina flagged 11 times for 104 yards in penalties. Kurt Coker. Nope, we've got a new quarterback. It's Danny McManus in for Florida State, and he hooks up over the middle to Hassan Jones for a Florida State first down up on the 49. So we get a third quarterback for the Seminoles, Danny McManus.
And McManus is just a freshman from Sarasota, Florida.
See Jones turning inside, and he's had a bad day.
He did make that one on a 360-degree catch, turned around and caught it.
From from the 49. McManus back. He's going to air it out, going big. Double coverage downfield. It is intercepted by South Carolina's Bryant Gilliard. Pass intended for Jones. There was double coverage. He never really had a chance at it.
Just desperation pass. The safety man is playing center field. Gilliard, number 20, makes another great effort as he goes up in the air and comes down with the ball. We'll be right back after this.
AFC West playoff hopefuls go at it when the 7-3 Raiders take on the 8-2 Seahawks. Live at 9 Eastern on ABC.
Well, it's been quite a day for Bryant Gilliard, hasn't it? 4 interceptions to tie a South Carolina school record. I don't think that Bryant enjoyed. My golly. 7:09 to play in the ball game. And up the field comes Thomas Dendy. And he goes from the 13 up to about the 22 and penalty flag.
Keith, while we're looking at the penalty, which was blocking below the waist or clipping by the flanker, Florida State came in this ball game with only 1 interception all season long. 1 interception out of about 145 or 50 passes.
Well, 3 of the passes resulted from receivers falling down.
Yes, that's right. Good
and
point.
the others have just been Hail Marys.
Yep. I guess they've had, what, 5 interceptions this half? Or 6? 5?
I think 6.
The flanker, for safety reasons, the flanker cannot block below the waist. He certainly can't clip, coming to the inside.
With a clip against the offense. First down.
Let's see if we can pick it up.
They have 5 in the last 22 interceptions.
5
interceptions. 1 in 167.
Yeah. 1 interception out of 167 passes before tonight.
6:54 to play in the football game and a 20-point lead for South Carolina, and they're right now sort of looking like they're trying to protect it. This is Renard Brown. After the penalty, the football moved back to the 7, and Brown is caught back inside the 5 near the 3. More scores from Jim.
All right, quickly, we told you about Doug Flutie. Robbie Bosco today passed for 326 yards and 2 more touchdowns to give him 29 on the season as BYU won for the 21st time in a row, 34-3 over San Diego State. Bosco and Flutie, the update now with the Heisman ballots out. And remember, no quarterback has won the Heisman Trophy since Pat Sullivan was throwing him to Terry Beasley back in 1971. Keith, I know that stadium in Columbia is built to rock back and forth if it has to. Has it been rocking today?
Frank Cisick. Handoff is inside, and breaking it is Brown. Renard Brown has a first down for the Gamecocks.
Keith, we haven't talked about the offensive line. Little trap play right up the middle. Pulling was Jim Walsh, number 77. He just opens the hole. And Brown, who returned that kickoff, the second half opening kickoff for a touchdown, makes a big gainer and a first down.
I think they're showing, too, Frank, they have great depth in their running backs because they did lose to a broken leg their top runner, Ken Haygood, last week. And back goes by a hole to throw it, and he waited too long, and the pursuit got him.
Keith, we also should mention that South Carolina has lost 3 outstanding defensive starters in this ball game.
Well, Seawright's back in there, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
No,
I think
not.
Miller has been playing in his position.
I thought Seawright had come back earlier, but I guess not.
Here's the score by Quarters. Who could have anticipated so many errors in the third quarter, leading to 32 points, 55 plays, but that is expected. 144 plays in an average ball game. That quarter had 55.
Clock running, and South Carolina looking at second down and about 20. Mike Hole gets it away. It's up for grabs. And hits the turf. Bill Bradshaw was the intended receiver. 2 Florida State men were back there. Eric Riley had a pretty good shot at intercepting it and couldn't do it.
26-38. Riley, number 8. Dropping back, covering deep to Bradshaw. The receiver's assignment is once the ball, he cannot catch it, you become a defender. You prevent the interception. Let's see what Bradshaw does to prevent the interception. Well, he comes right in front of him.
Should have caught that ball.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that defensive back.
It's third down And still about 20. And penalty. Again. I think when this game is over, Frank, I'm not going to say a word till I get to Lincoln, Nebraska next week.
Well, we'll have a big one in Lincoln. Remember, we were up there 5, 6 years ago when Nebraska won for the first time in Tom Osborne's career of beating Oklahoma and went on to the Orange Bowl and had to face Oklahoma again in the Orange Bowl.
And that one down there.
Good ball. The offense encroaching in the neutral zone when the ball was set.
That one down in Texas is a pretty big one, especially if you're a Horned Frog.
What a job that Jim Wacker has done. Last year's team was 1-8-2. I think they had 2 ties. This year, right now, they've lost 1 game. The SMU, the opening game of the season.
Quite a chase between South Carolina and TCU for the comeback story of the year in the end zone. They've got him. 2 points. Henry Taylor and Isaac Williams broke through, and they knock hole down in the end zone, and it's now a 38-20 ball game.
And Florida State will receive the free kick. South Carolina will kick it from the 20. Taylor, number 58, is going to blitz right up the middle. The center turns over and takes Jones. The other linebacker frees up Taylor, and he comes right in there. You can see Taylor, number 58, along with Isaac Williams, the defensive tackle. They kind of corner him there, sandwich him right there for the safety. 2 points.
4 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the football game. The punt by O'Connor. And Holloman backs up to his 22, comes up the middle, breaks free. And he's caught from behind and dragged down at the 46 of South Carolina. This thing is still ticking. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Keith. In case you weren't with us earlier, a final update on that key race at the Breeders' Cup horse racing event at Hollywood Park. The $3 million classic for 3-year-olds and up again. Wild again, the supplemental entry at 30-1 winning. Gate Dancer finished second, but was moved down to third on an inquiry. So Slew of Gold wound up paying place money, and Gate Dancer paid show money, and the winner got more than $1,350,000. Back to you, Keith.
And Danny McManus is in at quarterback now. Redshirt freshman, the 3rd Florida State quarterback. He goes to the sidelines to Jesse Hesser and underthrows Hester. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Florida State. Number 1 Washington defeated by USC in Los Angeles in the Rose Bowl game. Of course, USC's got to still go in and bump heads with UCLA, but that in effect puts the Trojans back on top in the Pac-10. Number 2, Texas was defeated by Houston today, 29-15. 2nd down and 10. Number 5, South Carolina trying to hold off Florida State's comeback here in the 4th quarter. Hester again out of bounds. 1st down. It picked up 12 yards on that pattern. Well, you know, obviously we're not going to have time for our scoreboard show to run down other scores. Number 3, Nebraska, a big winner today. Goes in against Oklahoma next week. You'll see it here on ABC. Number 6, Miami, defeated by Maryland's 42-point outburst in the 2nd half after trailing 31-0 at halftime. Number 9, Oklahoma, was a big winner today as well. Oklahoma State's playing tonight. 1st down, Florida State at the South Carolina 34. 4:25 to play in one of the long games in recent years. Down the middle, McManus throws the ball behind Hassan Jones. And Jones again having trouble on this particular afternoon. One of the upsets today was Rutgers beating West Virginia 23-19. And now the Mountaineers have lost 3.
And the Mountaineers really look good, both against Boston College and Penn State. They got so high for both those games, they just couldn't come back and play up to their capabilities. 2 tough losses.
Back to back to Virginia and Rutgers. Virginia was a big winner today. 2nd down and 10. They run it up the middle with Snipes. And Snipes gets about 6 yards on the carry down to the 20. Yeah, it depends. 29-28 where they put him down. Clemson is a formidable foe left for South Carolina in the final game of the season. LSU winning over Alabama today, 16-14. And Florida kicked Georgia sideways today. LSU, right now, if Florida is sanctioned by the SEC, could wind up in the Sugar Bowl. 3rd down and 5. McManus, big play. Goes down the middle, hits Hester. Hard pass, Jesse caught it, and goes to the 19 for a first down. Rick Rabune brought him down.
Going back to the LSU win, Ray Perkins has had a tough year. He got his great run of Carrigood hurt that first ball game, but it's the first time I think Alabama's had a losing season since the year before Bear Bryant went there. If my memory is right, that's 28 years.
Well, things turned around other places other than Alabama this year, too. It's first down at the South Carolina 19 now. 3:15 to play in the ball game. McManus throws good to Hester, and Jesse steps out of bounds at the Gamecock 11. Ohio State was a big winner today, while Iowa was a loser today in the Big Ten race. So Ohio State now, if they can knock off Michigan, can go on out west. And Michigan was a winner. Wisconsin was a winner. And the Badgers are not totally out of the bowl picture either. There's a story in part on the TCU win today. Arkansas, very much a bowl possibility. So is SMU. Second down and 2 of Florida State. Both these teams obviously bowl possibilities. McManus's pass thrown back across the field, complete to Pat Carter. And Pat Carter is out of bounds for a first and goal at the South Carolina 3. Time is now the big ally for South Carolina.
Part of the tight end is going to cross over, and with the blitz, the strong safety Brooks was to cover him, and he just cannot get there. Great catch by the freshman, the true freshman, big tight end, Carter of Florida State. One of the great coaches that we have, and one of the finest gentlemen that we have in the coaching profession, Bobby Bowden.
First and goal from the 3 for the Seminoles. A mix-up. McManus steps away from it, throws the ball to Pat Carter. Carter catches it for a touchdown at 3:02 to play in the game. And it's now a 38-26 football game. And I expect they'll probably go for 2.
Fake to the fullback, tight end right where the safety man fires to stop the option play. It was a sellout defense trying to stop the run by South Carolina. No one covered the tight end. Everybody trying to stop the run. Wide open for the touchdown. Big freshman, Carter.
McManus got tangled up with his fullback, Cletus Jones. I didn't know if he's going to be able to get loose in time to throw it. There's Joe Morrison, who has done the marvelous job in his second season here with the Gamecocks. Chattanooga had a success, New Mexico success, and now here success. McManus goes for 2, and he throws the ball so hard that Hassan Jones could not pull it in. He really drilled him. There was good coverage by Hinton Taylor for the Gamecocks, and so it's 38-26, Carolina with 3:02 to play. 38-24, the scoreboard's got 38-26, and the 2-point try was not good. So maybe South Carolina folks are being hospitable here. There's an onside kick try, and it's not going to go to required distance.
Great discipline by the South Carolina team. They didn't go up and fight for it. The ball has to go 10 yards. Now, South Carolina has the choice. They can take the ball there or force the kick over. Obviously, they'll take the ball there. Ball did not go 10 yards.
Now they're arguing about what the score is. That's the right score. South Carolina, after a 5-yard onside kick try, the ball rolling dead at the 45, will take over now on the Florida State side of the field, and Mike Hole bootlegs it. And they force him out of bounds. He didn't want to go out, but they forced him out. It was 38-20, hey guys, and they scored 6 points. That makes it 38-26.
Arizona State came back and beat Oregon.
Look at Arizona State rebounding after that marathon thing they had. They've had 44 points now in successive games.
Well, the game last week they said was 3 hours and 26 minutes out in Tempe. This game is
long since.
No, has it? Yeah.
2:56 to play in the ball game, and up the middle goes Dindy. And Dindy turns in another first down for South Carolina. Thomas, a 5'10", 185-pound junior from Fountain Inn.
And as then he went through the hole, as he was about to get hit, protect that football. Put both hands over it. Good coaching.
South Carolina just 2 minutes and 40 seconds away now from winning its 9th game. That will set a new standard of excellence for their football team. Their best ever was 8. Mike Holt hands it inside to Quentin Lewis. Lewis, who's fumbled the ball a couple of times today, wraps it up this time and picks up about 5 yards. And it begins to appear now, Frank, rather conclusively, that the South Carolina Gamecocks are going to come out of this thing with a 9-0 record.
And other than some of the bad plays by both teams in the third quarter, I'm impressed with the South Carolina team. They've been able to run the ball inside. They've gotten outside. Their backs seem like they can go all the way. Their quarterbacks, both of them have played adequately, particularly Hold.
Up the middle. This is Lewis. And Lewis cracks it close to another first down. And if they do it this time, then they ought to be able to run out the clock. Number 1 Washington losing today. Number 2 Texas losing today. And I imagine the ballot at the polls will be between, well, it's obviously going to be between Nebraska, South Carolina, and BYU.
I think all 3 of them are deserving at this time. I really do. South Carolina had a losing season, 5-6 last year. Turned it around in the second year. Joe Morrison. His great comment, Keith, that I liked, he said that his team aren't very good, but no one's told him. And, you know, when you think you're a winner, you play like a winner until somebody convinces you that you're a loser. You play winning football. I think that's the true of great coaches. They develop winners, develop people.
Each team has had 19 possessions in this ball game today. 3rd down and a yard. Hold fumbles the football, and Florida State's got it. Florida State diving on a loose football to keep this thing alive at 117. And covering it was Stanley Scott, defensive lineman, as Hold tried to keep it on the option and had the ball squeezed loose.
The triple option, the blitzing end, just got to Hold before he was ready to pitch it. Ball pops right down and recovered by Florida State. That's 13 turnovers in the second half. That's got to be some kind of record. I don't care if they do not keep him at the NCAA. I'm going to call it a record.
33-yard line, and Danny McManus back to throw. That one is intercepted. It's picked off by Joe Brooks, the strong safety.
Well, give Brooks credit. He makes a great play. He's covering the short. Now the quarterback looks all the way. And Brooks just retreats into the boundary and juggles the ball in his hands and out, back in his hands for the interception. Joe Brooks, number 23, his second of the season. Well, Hester's just going to run an out pattern. That's just a great play by the strong safety, Brooks. That's how you coach it. That's how you drill, school that strong safety.
Now all they have to do is just hold on to the football. And they're going to win their night.
Well, Florida State has 3 timeouts, but no hope of winning. They might as well let them run out and not use them. And they're not.
South Carolina has Navy to play, and then the finale against Old Fool Clemson.
And the game is played, I believe, over at Death Valley.
Yep. I'll check it, but I think you're right. It is. This is Dendy carrying the ball, and he's picked up about 8 on that run. And so this one is about to become history with 25 seconds to go and 75,000 people. A record crowd came to watch it as the moon comes up over the stadium. And next week, we're looking ahead to Nebraska, Oklahoma at Lincoln, and Texas TCU. They're going to let the clock run out. Joe Morrison has set a new standard for South Carolina football. He's won 9 in a row in the year 1984. Florida State will drop to 6-2-1. It is final. Here's Tim Brent.
All right, Keith. The Foxes. He said your team's not that good. They don't know about it.
Well, we didn't play very well the second half. We just almost tried
Well, the microphone in that melee down below Tim Brandt, the wireless mic has poofed out. It's not working, and so there's no point standing and talking into a dead microphone. But I'm always amazed.